Administration Principal Nick Massey, Athletic Director Whitney Holland, Head Coach Pat Richards, welcome Mountain View to Cienega Stadium Friday Night Football. Special night, seniors night. Definitely something here at Cienega. Yeah, we practice annually with all of our programs, honoring hard-working four-year seniors. We're going to be doing a few different programs tonight and pay recognition. Then we'll be doing the Copper Thunder Marching Band during halftime tonight. We're going to start out tonight with the Bobcat TV seniors. Bobcat TV provides, look at them, they're upstairs right now. They're in all the time preparing, dragging out line, preparing for various Bobcat TV situations, and they do a fantastic job. Here are the seniors. Destiny Martin, Caitlin Matisco, Jory Paul, Tanner Peterson, Amy Quintana, Jillian Summers, and Mason Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, one more big hand for the Bobcat TV seniors. Thank you so much for what you've done. Next up, Spirit Line. First senior Marissa Aceveda and her family. Gianna Casella and her family. Melanie Gradinsky and her family. Sophia Rosas and her family. Alexandria Scheid and her family. Corinne Simon and her family. And finally, Amanda Villegas and her family. And let's hear it one more time. Spirit Line! All right, next is sports medicine. Hey, there's a dedicated bunch, always here for practices, games. You see a football player, sports medicine's around. First senior tonight, Ariel Bailey and her family. Deja Lee and her family. And finally, Kenneth Williams and Kidd's family. One more time, student athletic trainer seniors. Great job. Next program, and I'll say this all day long as a coach, every good program has great managers. Managers. Adriana Arce and her family. Equipment manager Hannah Lovin, senior. And finally, hard-working cats in the house. Senior Jordan Aldor and his family. Senior Big Nate Amico and his family. Senior Isaac Beltran and his family. Senior Dante Bowdy. Big Dante, big family. And tonight, Carter would like to dedicate this to his loving father from heaven, Paul Clark, Senior Carter Clark and his family. And we miss this guy, Senior Kicker Austin Del Rio. Senior Speedy Gonzalez Devin Garrett. Senior Stephen Harshman and his family. That's Brett Holly special teams. A lot of Hollies through. Here's another one, Senior Connor Holly. Senior Dylan Hoos. And the Hoos family. Senior Terrell Huggins and the Huggy family. Senior Tanner Hughes. Senior Emmanuel Jimenez and his family. Senior Alex Johnson. Senior Jamari Jabu Joyner. Senior Kenyatta Kendrick and his family. I call this guy the nicest young man on campus. Senior Rodney Rogers. Senior Javon Walker and his family. Senior, part of the animal, Jerry White. And the White family. And finally, Senior Logan Williams. And one final senior escorted, give him a big hand, working hard, Nathan March.
Welcome into the broadcast wherever you may be to viewers across America. I'm Jacob Greenberg, joined alongside great friend, basketball teammate, co-broadcaster McVeigh Butler III.
That's right.
Mountain View is the opponent tonight here on senior night for the Bobcats. They like to run the ball, and Cienega has done a great job at continuing to run this season. What can Mountain View count on against this talented Bobcat defense?
Well, that's the problem here, Jacob, that I've been seeing with any team is if you cannot be neutral and balanced in both ways and be able to depend on them, there's not really any way you can count on anything. That's why the best thing that you can have is surprise, and the best thing that you need is probably a pass game, just because if we look at the Marana game, we thought that they were just a run team, but they actually improved their passing. So basically, it's an element of surprise.
We've heard this whole week that the Mountain View quarterback, which is number 7, Josemaria Alcala, cannot throw the ball. We'll see what he does here tonight. It is senior night here in Vail, Arizona. The seniors got a great recognition from Nichols and everybody that is involved in producing these football games. Got a great recognition.
Yes, they did. And you know what? That's the good part about Cienega is that they recognize their seniors, not just, I mean, this is before even graduation. These are months and months and months ahead. And I think that's just a sign to see that how much Cienega appreciates the seniors and what they've done in their 4-year tier of being a Cienega Bobcat.
Mountain View is coming off of a loss last week, a 1-point loss that in overtime to Buena, a team that Cienega beat by a score of 33-10 as the captains are meeting here in the middle.
I mean, you can see that these captains, you know, every captain is always a matured football player, and it's a little bit worrisome to see that Mountain View struggled against the team that we beat.
And the captains for the Mountain Lions are number 11, Khalib McRae, number 55, Tavion Roby, number 70, Kai Golden, and number, looks like 54, Emery Gooden. And for the Bobcats, it's Devin Garrett, number 29, Alex Johnson, number 6, Tanner Hughes, and number 31, Kenyatta Kendrick, all seniors on this Bobcat team.
Definitely, all seniors, and it's just a point of showing that your leaders on the team are always usually seniors, just because they're, you know, even in school they're leaders, just because of being the highest possible grade you can be. You're always setting an example for lower grades, and it's just natural to be a leader.
Cienega 9-0 came off that miraculous win last week after a very terrible second half, as they won by 1 point in overtime off of the Ezra Figueroa extra point kick. And Mountain View is 7-2, coming off a loss of 34-0 to South Point in their first game, and last week against Buena, 39-38.
Yeah, it was definitely a tongue twister on that one. Just a lot to worry about in that Ironwood Ridge game, just because of how competitive. Ironwood Ridge is a strong-minded team, and there's not many teams like it, but I think Mountain View has a strong-minded team and can, you know, withstand any damage that they take. But definitely an exciting game that we have today, Jacob.
Definitely is, as teams are getting set for kickoff in the last game for both of these teams of the regular season, as both are looking to make a playoff run and get a state championship this year.
Yep, and it was really exciting to see my main dude, Barbecue Chicken, Ezra Figueroa, kicking that goal. And, you know, I'm excited to see what he can do this game, and I hope it doesn't come down to him having to kick it again. Pretty nervous going into playoffs to have to see that. But I think like Coach Bullnow had said, it's more about the details and trying to figure out a way to, you know, be prepared for the playoffs. And I think that the defense is going to be trying to show their strength in this game because of all the trouble that they had last game.
So the kick is up. 2 receivers for Cienega, and it will roll to, gets a good gap, and out to the 33-yard line where the Bobcats will start their first offensive drive great offense led by star Jamari Joyner.
Yep, and that's definitely a great leader to have on the field always. Your quarterback is always the biggest part of your offense, and he is definitely a great leader because he knows how to play football and has a mentality of, in my opinion, a college-prepared quarterback just because of the way that he has, quick reactions.
So Joyner will start this first play in the backfield with Gio Owens. And a flag on the first play of the game.
Yeah, that right there, just a little bit of some early jitters right now. You're never really 100% when you first start the game. You're about 60 to 70% when you start, just because you always got to get them bugs out of your mind and everything. You're just a little nervous. I think that's what that was right there.
And a 5-yard false start will back the Bobcats up. 1st and 15, receivers in motion. And Hayward in motion. Gio Owens will get the handoff, goes right side, and a good gain there to get inside the 39-yard line.
And that's what they need to stop. Being Mountain View, you need to go after Hayward, Jamari Joyner, and most likely Gio Owens. Those are your 3 targets on defense for you to have to cover. And that's a pretty tight job to do just because of how versatile Jamari Joyner is, and so is Terrell and Gio.
Owens' run brings up 2nd and 6, ball on the 38-yard line. Hayward cuts back in motion, and he will, keeper from Jamari Joyner as he lunges forward, and more than a first down, across the halfway point of the field.
That right there is just a bad play by the Mountain View defense. The fake right there to number 7, was that Terrell Hayward?
Fake was Terrell Hayward, yes.
Yeah, the fake right there, it even got me just a little bit. It looked like a little bit of a fumble in the backfield when Jamari was trying to fake the toss. But that was just a great play right there to gain those extra 10 yards that they wanted, and now they're at the 50.
DiMaggio Strive, the usual starter on the offensive line, is out. He is hurt, and he hurt himself in last game against Ironwood Ridge. Rodney Rogers, for a 2-yard gain, has been used in this offense a lot to run the ball.
He has, but it's mainly his catching ability that I've seen. He's used his catching ability, but mainly his key is his running. They use him to catch just when they need those extra yards, and that's when they really use his speed to their advantage, and plus his catching ability.
And 2nd and 8 as the Bobcats approach the line. Joyner, handoff to Devin Garrett. Devin Garrett finds a hole and more, and he is off to the 15-yard liner and more. And Nichols said it when he got recognized because he's a senior, Mr. Speedy.
Yeah, definitely. That was a fast play right there that built up into a massive gain for Cienega right there. And if you're Mountain View, you don't want to make that happen just because, the running game of Cienega is such a big part, but they do not depend on it. But when the defense gives it to them, they're going to take it. And right there, they gave it to them, and they took it.
And a 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line. And Miko is in there on offense. He's used by Nugent a lot for his blocking purposes. And this is what he's doing now. Joyner on the run, left side, and a great tackle there.
And that's the thing with Joyner. He can't really use any diving or any, intense pushing just because he's always afraid of injury, just because of his position as quarterback. A hurt arm, a hurt leg can just ruin his game completely just because, it's just so dangerous to have a quarterback run it against a defense just because of tackling. The intensity can always hurt a player and possibly end a career. And
that was number 12 there, Weston Aguilar on the tackle. He's circled on my sheet as an impact player. We'll look out for him tonight. Joyner in motion, looking to throw the ball, and it is caught end zone. Terrell Hayward to put the Bobcats on the board first.
And that right there is dangerous to see, that it only took them less than 10 plays to get on the board. Right there, that is dangerous to see just because the defense is not prepared, it seems like, to handle the multi-capable ability that Jamari Joyner brings to the game of being able to throw, run, and find wide open receivers like it was in that case.
The Bobcats draw first blood as Ezra Figueroa is on to kick the extra point.
Like Mr. Miller says, those orange highlighter shoes that he got on, always a sight to see. You can always pick them out of the crowd.
And it is good. 7-0, 8:25. Less than 4 minutes on that drive from the Bobcats.
Yep, pretty dangerous. 4 minutes is all it took, and you can see this is a playoff prepared team. You know, this is when the offense likes to strike. Once they hit blood, they're ready to kill. They want to make it difficult for these teams. This is when they let their second and third strings go on the field about halftime, just because they want to run up the score as quick as possible, just so we can get reps. Because the second and third are the future varsity starters.
Mountain View's head coach Bam McRae has been coaching this team since 2014. 6-4 in 2014, 6-4 in 2015. Didn't see playoffs in either of those years. Last year, lost in the first round, 7-4 year to Mesquite, 21-19. Cienega later went on to beat Mesquite in the second round, 63-38. And at the 30-yard line is where the Mountain View Mountain Lions will bring out their offense. That was number 21, Joseph Penna, on the return.
I'm really surprised to see Ezra Figueroa kicking it so small. He usually is a power kicker. He usually kicks it at least around 50 yards every time I see him. Always an end zone kicker. Definitely a great thing to have, just because being a kicker, he's going to get a lot of offers from colleges just because kickers are very, very hard to come by.
Number 7, Josemari Alcala in at quarterback. 2 in the backfield. And 2 receivers. And it is a handoff to number 19. No, that is not 19. Number 10, Varney Larson.
And you know what? That was pretty dangerous right there. If you saw, he was clamped up around the legs and got hit from about a vertical side. That could have possibly injured him very, very badly, possibly a Gordon Hayward right there. Pretty dangerous, but I'm pretty happy to see that the crowd is getting riled up by these cheerleaders. Everyone is yelling, "Go Cats." What do you think about that, Jacob?
Well, we see Mountain View fans on the other side. They always travel well. Tell them about that visitor side section real quick.
Well, the visitor side section is pretty packed. You can see they have two sides packed with just the band alone, and then family members completely filled. The whole entire section is packed to the bridges, and it just means more people to witness and feel the Cienega effect.
Well, this Mountain View Mountain Lion football program has always been a top-notch football program in southern Arizona, as it's 3rd and 5 on the 37-yard line. These are the plays where Mountain View is 80-20 run. This is where their 20 pass comes in.
Yeah, but that just becomes even more dangerous because you cannot, right there, they're using number 7, their quarterback. Is that number 7?
That is number 10 on the run, Varney Larson, and he gets the first down and more on the Cienega side of the field.
And number 7 right there, the quarterback, you can tell, just like we saw from Ironwood Ridge, not much of a running quarterback, but they use him and fake him very well to get them those extra yards, as you saw Mountain View gain right there. Pretty disappointing, because you know that these kind of situations, playoff teams will pounce upon it and take it for a whole entire touchdown.
Number 22 for the Mountain Lions on the run, and is tripped up for a 5-yard gain.
This is probably one of the best first possession runs I've seen from a team against Cienega, just because they're the first to make it past the 50. Usually the defense is able to stop them around the 40-yard line in their own end zone. And it's pretty impressive to see that they're able to push them back with just a running capability. But I think it's just a little bit of a, like I said, butterflies, and I think it's just a tweak in the defense will fix that problem real quick.
Yeah, Bobcat defense always comes in with some firepower. And they're looking to stop Mountain View here on another run to number 10, Varney Larson. And he is stopped by Nathan Amico, the senior. Tripped him up there. Great tackle from Nathan Amico.
And you know what? That's what makes the Cienega Bobcat defense so dangerous, is because once you start using a runner consistently and they can start targeting right during the first possession, it seems like they target players and try using their own strengths against them. And that is why the defense is so dangerous to deal with, coached by Coach Bull now.
We've already seen a lot from Varney Larson. Cienega is going to need to stop him on this drive, and he is in as a receiver here on this play. Number 22 in the backfield, which is Wyatt Adams. And it is a handoff to Adams and is tackled by a gang of Bobcats. And that brings up 4th down.
And 4th down already. As you can see, I gave them a little bit too much credit, telling them that they did make it past the 50, but it is dangerous to see that they're already being stopped with their run game.
So 4th and 6. Looks like the offense is staying out there on the field. They have good field position. They can do that here.
They can, but it's more so how much are you willing to bet from the start of the game to the finish of the game. If you're already willing to sacrifice here, it just shows that they know what Cienega is capable of, and it doesn't matter when you kick it. Right here, it seems like a passing or possibly a running play right here. It seems like a play action, if you ask me.
Alcala in motion, and it is caught by number 11, Khalid McRae, which will give them a Mountain Lion first down. Great read there. It started off looking like a quarterback keeper.
Yes, definitely very dangerous to see them go for it there, but I think it was a right call just because they must have studied Cienega and seen that even though you kick it off, it doesn't really happen to affect them at all.
Alcala, a handoff to Adams, who is tackled by Dante Bodie.
Dante Bodie on the takedown. Adams, workhorse, Mountain View on the carry.
4 minutes approaching here in the first quarter.
And I think, you know what, them going for it was probably the best move I've seen in a while against this Bobcat team.
Yeah, because once they get up by 2 scores, there's no coming back.
There's no coming back. And you know what the only reason is because you have to go head and head, and it has to be a scoring, firing battle. Whatever defense can stop them wins the game.
Alcala, and a motion pitch or handoff to number 11. And he in a fumble on the field, and let's see, and it's going Cienega's way. It looks like it was recovered by Thomas Webb Jr. Oh no, Zach Mattis, and Cienega gets the ball here.
And you know what? It's such a shame to see that. And you know what? That right there can be the outcome of the game. Being too close and failing in vain right there. Remember, the defense is, and Zach Mattis is a very strong guy. He could have stripped that easily from almost anybody. And it's pretty dangerous to see this just because it shows how strong the defense is and upsetting such a close drive.
So Mattis on the recovery, and a turnover is not good there for the Mountain Lions as they were inside the 20-yard line. Joyner to Owens, and Owens is tackled out of bounds.
Owens. The carry.
Loxton there on the tackle.
Aaron Loxton.
Brings up 2nd and 8.
And this is where Mountain View needs to come in big, is their defense. If they cannot stop Jamari Joyner, Terrell Hayward, and Gio Owens, they will automatically lose the game. If they can't even stop Jamari Joyner, the game's over.
One-on-one coverage to the receivers, and Jamari's right, and that means he's going to throw, looking to throw. Out of pressure is him rolling out, and he has a throw downfield, and wide open is Jerry White. And let's see if he's in bounds, and the receiver says yes, he is in bounds. And what a game Jerry White had last week.
And you know what? Jerry White seems to be a clutch catcher. He always knows that, you know what, they will count on him. And then those plays, those rush plays, you lose sight just because, you know, Mountain View right there, they lost track of all their wide receivers right there. And Jamari rolling across was a smart and very, very high IQ football mentality right there that got him those extra yards that he wanted.
And Jerry White, there was no one there to cover him.
No, there was not. And you know what? That's dangerous because they have incredible catchers, incredible wide receivers on this team that if you do not stop them, you will cost yourself the game.
Joyner a little juke, but won't get anywhere as he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss.
And you can tell that Coach Nugent has taught Jamari Joyner that if it is not there and the play has been distinguished, you need to get down and make sure you don't cause any injury to yourself because you are the key to this offense. He's the key to the offense, and he's the key to their playoff championship goals.
Definitely. He's had a great season. Joyner has the U of A commit, 2,352 yards passing, 19 touchdown passes, 15 rushing touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's a punter too. A 39-yard punt average as he will most likely learn behind Khalil Tate, a great quarterback right now at the U of A. They're hoping to get a win against Washington State tomorrow.
Yes, they are. And you know what? It's nice to see that Cienega is producing athletes that can go to the next level, and that's pretty promising to see because Jamari Joyner is a do-it-all player. You know, being able to pass, run, and even punt, you know, that just shows his athleticism, and it gives him the hope and possibility that he can go to the NFL and be even better on the second and highest level that you possibly can. You just got to hope and see what he develops into.
So a timeout taken by the Bobcats with 2:33 left in the first. We see some pink on the Mountain Lions for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
A little bit dangerous right there. Did you see that, the cheerleaders?
I did not.
One of them almost fell, and that's pretty dangerous.
You want to know who I was looking at?
Who?
Kai Golden, number 70 on the Mountain Lions. Committed to New Mexico State and is an Aggie after he committed earlier this week. He had offers from University of Montana, Air Force, and other D1 schools. He's been a great player for the Mountain Lions on both lines. Joyner scrambling, throw downfield. It's wobbly, and it is out of the hands of a Mountain Lion defender. Could have been easily picked off by number 8, Brandon DeVoy. It was right to him.
That is a dangerous, dangerous pass that you do not want to see him try and make, just because it means that they are endangering their drive ability, and they ruin the drive if it is intercepted. And the same concept happens on both sides. If that would have been intercepted, they would have just been poisoning themselves after taking the ball from a fumble on the Mountain View's last drive.
Do you feel like teams, after they commit a turnover, feel like they can take chances?
I do think that they do, just because they seem to take bigger risks, but I think it all depends on the mentality of a team, and I think it just goes through the coaching and what the coaches feel they can take risks on.
Joyner in a no-back set. Rolling to his left, and a throw out of bounds is incomplete over the head of Terrell Hayward. That will bring up 4th down, and the punting unit comes out, and Jamari Joyner stays put.
Yes, and that's where he has shown some ability, too, is his kicking ability. Punting is not an easy job, just because kicking, period, is not easy when you have 200-pound backs rushing at you, trying to hope that they can hurt you, because, nobody ever plays football with the intention not to hurt anybody. And I think it's pretty dangerous for him to be taking that role, but I think he's done well in it.
Joyner, and the punt is up, and it will take a bounce and get down to the 12-yard line, where the Mountain Lions will start their second offensive drive with 2 minutes and 5 seconds in the first.
That's promising to see, just because they were able to stop Jamari Joyner with that intense rushing that they showed right there, and that just shows that they want to keep it neck and neck in this game. And I think it'll be really interesting to see if they can come up with a touchdown within these next couple of drives. And Jacob, do you think the mentality of a game is set from the start or in the middle of a game?
I think it's from the start. We saw that flag in the start of the game, and mentally, you see players get a little chippiness at the start. A lot of it starts from the start. And
you can have a seat, Jacob.
Run there from Number 5, it looks like. As my chair has been stolen by other Bobcat TV crew members.
Despicable. Don't try stealing my chair. Well, you won't have to worry about that. I'm not getting up at all.
2nd and 10. Alcala. And it is a screen pass to number 4, Joshua Hart. And it looks like another fumble on the field. And the referee says that he was down. But really, it doesn't look like he was down.
It didn't, but you know what? Sometimes that being that close, I think refs sometimes are trying to keep the game close, and I think that's more so of a it's kind of a fan thing. With Cienega, they're known to be a blowout team where they always blow out their opponents, and I think they're just trying to keep it close and keep it fair as possible on both sides, and I think that was just a little bit unfair to see that.
Dylan Hoos follows the man in motion. It is a handoff to Verney. And he is stopped. Varney Larson, excuse me. Good gain there. And it will move the chains as they get a first down.
And I think the main goal for every single team that goes against Cienega is if you are stuck in the 20 and lower range, you need to get at least past the 50 with every single drive, just because of how the punters are we don't have any punters that are able to kick probably up to the 20 from the 20. You just don't see that every day.
And a handoff to Adams. Actually, it's a keeper from the quarterback. He'll get about 2 yards on the play.
And it's just funny to me, like I said a couple of weeks ago when Gordon Hayward got hurt in basketball, I always wonder how players on the football field with some of these dangerous drives that they make, how they do not get injured from multiple tackles from different angles. I think it's just freak accidents. Jacob, what do you think?
I think at the high school level nowadays, they do such a great job at training these players and making sure they're ready to go for games, warming them up right. And I'm not saying Gordon Hayward didn't follow those things. He had a freak accident, like you like to call it.
I would like to call it a freak accident, and prayers go out to him. He's an amazing player, and we've had football injuries that are just at the same level of distress to the body. But you know what? I think every player is trained, and I think that I know Cienega's players are trained very well, and they have amazing trainers whenever they're hurt.
Cal
Rush,
Bowen?
yep. Rushes down the field, and you have multiple trainers in training, actually. Well, aren't you taking?
I am the sports medicine class.
Yes, you are. And you know what? That is such an amazing class to take because it prepares our Bobcats to go out in life, being able to prepare. And, life happens sometimes. And, I'm pretty positive that parents know that your kids get hurt sometimes. So, even taking care of little things like that, you see, as being a very important class to take as a young student.
Yeah, and Cal Bowen, he's a great trainer and a great teacher also. Second and 7 from the 25-yard line. 5 seconds left in the first. One more play will go here in the first quarter. And here is Varney Larson. And we'll get close to a first down, but it's not a first down. We'll bring up third down when they come back for the second quarter.
This is definitely very surprising to see a low-scoring half. First quarter, and there's only been one Cienega touchdown. The defense of Mountain View is keeping this football team in check, and there has only been about 3 drives, I think, total.
So welcome back for the second quarter. Jacob Greenberg and McVeigh Butler III here on the call.
Very sorry, I got interrupted for a commercial by our Cienega Bobcat TV supporting cast here. A little bit disrespectful, but I'll take what I can get and go with it.
And it looks like he is stopped before the first down, Varney Larson. And Luis Morales got there first on the tackle, and it will bring up fourth down, and it looks like the punting unit is coming on.
Yes, they are. They're definitely coming on. A little bit worried to talk here. I was wondering if a drama commercial might come on while I was talking. A little bit worrisome there, but definitely surprising to see a punting team come on here. But I think it's a smart move to do right now in this situation.
Oh, no. They are not punting. 4th and 1. And there is movement. And it looks like it is on the mountain lions. And they'll back up 5. And they'll... And now the punting team comes on. Now
the punting team comes on. And I think this is probably one of the best coached teams I've yet to see, just because of their capability to know when they should go for it and when they should not go for it. Punting right here is probably the best move that they can make, and it's more so of a danger zone kind of thing. You know, what do you want to really take chances on? And taking chances against Cienega is something you have to do, and I think this is the first prepared team that we've seen so far.
On for the punt. Can't see the number. Looks like it's number 8. And there is a flag on the field as Hayward is returning it out to the right side. And a great return there for him. Where did he receive that at? I don't care. Great return there from Terrell Hayward. Highlighted by some great blocking.
And there was a flag back there. That was an amazing run. You don't want to make that... You don't want to let that happen every single time that they run. And as we saw last week against Ironwood Ridge, we had 2 consecutive first-timers, 2 returns.
Right.
Okay, that is pretty impressive to see. And you can tell Terrell Hayward was ready for that. And, you know, amazing blocking always creates the run possibility for a touchdown. That was just a great return right there.
Seems like Terrell Hayward has a big punt return every single game.
He always does, and that's just his physical capabilities. And the running game is unrivaled by any team in Arizona, in my opinion, just because of how much these guys are trained and groomed into their capabilities of being complete athletic beasts. Jamari Joyner is a quarterback who can throw, run, and punt. Terrell Hayward has amazing hands and can run. So does Gio Owens. These are just, you know, well-groomed guys. And, you know, this is what you want to see in football games. You want to see guys that can just dominate like that. And it's like in any sport. Basketball, you have LeBron James that dominates. What other sports is there? Football, you have Tom Brady.
Baseball, you got Jose Altuve.
Yeah, exactly. You know, in every sport, there's always a dominating team. And as you can see right here, dominating players are always, you know, in every sport. And this is a dominating team with dominating players.
World Series game tonight, Houston's Astros. Stay tuned here, though, am I right?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
3rd and 1. Bobcats looking to convert on the 3rd down. They do have the kicking option in Ezra Figueroa. And it is Hayward on the carry. And it looks like he does have the first down.
I don't even think. I think even if he did not, they would still go for it, just because of how close they are, and just because they have so many options for running that they just, you know, they always can get that if they really wanted to.
Stop short is Hayward, and it is a 4th down. And short.
There should honestly be no reason why they should not go for it. This is short.
Looks like there may be a timeout here, as they'll go over something to go for it.
And I think right there, I think it looks like Coach Fontana is trying to tell them that there is a big problem with them and their blocking.
And the chain gang comes out to do a measurement here. We don't really see measurements at the high school level. And it is short. Looks like 4th and inches will be brought up for the Bobcats. And they should go for it here. Or maybe you just try and extend the lead.
No, this is an extending the lead once in a lifetime opportunity in this game, just because they have full capability to go for it right here and cause a 14-0 dwelling lead that they have to go into the locker room possibility with, just because that is 2 touchdowns that they have to overcome that hurdle before the end of the game.
Right.
All right, Jacob.
4th and 1 from the 24-yard line.
All right.
7 blockers in. Joyner rushes his way in there, and a first down for the Bobcats, and they are inside the 20.
I think with the way it's looking right here, they're in scoring range, and the only way that they can stop it is with an interception or a fumble, just because I know for a fact Ezra Figueroa can kick from 35 easy with his kicking ability and his soccer background.
2 receivers on both sides of Joyner. And Rogers in motion will add 3 receivers to the right side. Owens is stopped up there after a 2-yard gain. Oh, definitely should have been a flag there.
Definitely should have been.
You saw that by number 12, Weston Aguilar. I saw that, Weston. When you watch this later, that's not allowed. Can't push Gio Owens like that after the play.
Nope. Especially in this current situation that you're in, 7-0. You don't want to put them closer when they're in your own red zone. So close to a touchdown, you're endangering the team. That's just bad sportsmanship right there.
Joyner looking to throw, and he scrambles, and he has a receiver that's open. It is Rogers in for a receiving touchdown, Rodney Rogers.
And that right there is just an amazing play by Jamari Joyner, never taking a chance on this one. He wanted the touchdown. He found Rogers, who is an amazing catcher and runner, speedy guy. Speedy Gonzalez, is just an amazing catcher and a runner. He's just so fast that, and in any case, that right there is completely the defender's fault right there. Defensive ends need to be able to stop those kind of plays. Wide receivers, whoever's covering him needs to stay on him way tighter. And Barbecue Chicken's about to kick this right here. Ezra Figueroa.
Barbecue Chicken to make it 14-0. Cienega takes a 2-touchdown lead. 7:49 left in the second.
And that's one thing I like about Barbecue Chicken. You can always depend on him. Always comes in.
And may I ask real quick why you call him that?
I call him Barbecue Chicken because he's Barbecue Chicken. That's what Shaq would say. That would be what Shaq would say. He's Barbecue Chicken. Okay? He's just Barbecue Chicken, Jake. He's the stuff.
You watch Shaq a lot?
Oh yes, I love Shaq. I'm a basketball fan. I love watching Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, all the time. Even watching all the commentators for basketball.
Kevin Harlan,
Chris Webber. I love Chris Webber as a commentator just because he always is able to relate the game to his basketball career and involve it in his commentating.
Hall of Famer.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Four-time All-Star.
Four-time All-Star. Never won a championship, but definitely kind of like a Charles Barkley, one of the greatest, but just could not get that ring.
And Figueroa is on for the kick. And there is a whistle. And this kick will they'll do a redo on this kick.
Was there a flag on that one?
There was a flag, and ref whistled it before the ball got to the ground. So backing up the Cats.
I don't think it'll really affect Barbecue Chicken on this one. He's Barbecue Chicken. He can kick it anywhere. You want him to kick it all the way to a different school, he'll kick it all the way to a different school. That's just how good he is.
Like, how far are you talking about?
I would honestly say his range is within 200 yards. With a leg like that, 2 football stadiums, I think he could cover.
Maybe the Empire?
Maybe the Empire. You never know. He's Barbecue Chicken. He could do anything.
I was talking to Figueroa earlier today. He said he wants 2 special teams tackles today, and he has 2 on the whole season. So, and the ball goes out of bounds, which is not good, and it will bring the Mountain Lions to the 35-yard line. How do you feel about barbecue chicken on that play?
I think it was just a lapse in execution. I mean, with kickers, they always need to prepare themselves for the kick in any case, in any situation. They're probably the most precise players alongside with the quarterback on a football team just because of how they have to aim. And you can see that they always take about 3 steps back, 2 steps to the right to set themselves up for a perfect kick. And I think right there it was just a lapse in concentration and just ruined the play right there. But I know barbecue chicken's capabilities. As you can see, game winner last week against Ironwood Ridge.
So the junior varsity football team, their season is done, and so the varsity team has some extra jerseys, and the impact players got those jerseys as they are brought up for this game and into the playoffs to get their feet wet in a varsity type game. They won't play, but they'll see what it's like.
You know, I think it's more so about the practicing, because remember, they're going to become juniors. And being a junior, you become that second string to first string lineup depending on how good you are. And I think that it's always great to see that preparation.
Alcara downfield, and it is incomplete. Dylan Hoos, Terrell Huggins on the coverage. And that secondary for the Bobcats, just naming the players, it sounds so good. Thomas Webb, Terrell Hayward, Dylan Hoos, Rodney Rogers, Terrell Huggins.
I mean, you can honestly see the potential and the future that Cienega has for years to come. They have at least about, I would say, another year of state championship hopes on top of, depending on how the JV and freshmen come up, could possibly mean, 3 to 4, just depending on how their capabilities, because they do have 2 ginormous freshmen that play this year, and I was really impressed to see their size and their capability.
Well, those 2 freshmen plus another 2 freshmen that played on the freshman team were brought up also, and that didn't happen last year. So that's a good step for the Bobcat team.
It definitely didn't, but you know what? It's always so nice to see that you can always depend on Cienega to bring out the best possible players that, remember, to come to Cienega and make the football team, it's one thing, but, to go to the varsity level off of being a freshman is just incredible. And you can see that the line and even the receivers that are freshmen have a great, great potential to be leaders on this team their senior year and even their junior year.
3rd and 3 from the 47-yard line. And a 2-back set, and Adams is the carrier. And a tackle from Dante Bodie and Stephen Harshman were on the stop, and it will bring up 4th down. I'm going to go ahead and give those freshmen some recognition. Dylan Silva, Andrew Husfelt, who is already playing on this varsity team, Hunter Schlegel, who was already playing, but Sebastian Felix was brought up also. And then some JV players, Josiah Ware, Chase Iverson, Tristan Bushy, and Tyree McKinney, DiMaggio Strave. And you're definitely going to be hearing those names next year. 4th and 3. The Mountain Lions are going for it, but they'll call a timeout first.
I think this is a preparation play. They're down 14-0. You have to at least get a touchdown before the half. If you don't, you're going into dangerous territory with a kind of a mental blockage of having to overcome 2 touchdowns. If you can shorten the gap right now before the end of the half and leave it 14-7, that's what you want to do. Jacob, what are your thoughts? Is it really that important to get a touchdown this drive or no?
I do think so. In all my experience as a sophomore watching the Cienega football team, I haven't seen Cienega, when they take a lead, lose a game. And I've also seen them only lose 1 game. So they don't, when they take a lead, they keep it. And even though the team might start to edge them a little bit, they still do a great job at, I think, doing well in the second half.
And might I like to add, my class of 2019 is
great class.
Undefeated, has never lost a game, and I pray to God that it does not happen ever, just because just being a part of that class, not even being a player, but being able to say that I was a part of the class that never lost a game is one hell of a recognition that I would be able to get.
It really is something. 4th and 3, but a flag comes first, and it is on Mountain View, and this will probably bring out the punt team. So 4th and 8 is what it's going to be. And now the punt team comes out. So we've seen 2 consecutive flags from Mountain View when they were trying to go for it on 4th down.
Brandon DeVoy and a punt for Mountain View.
In the punt for Mountain View is number 8, Brandon DeVoy. And it is a kick that is going out of bounds. Let's see where the line judge says it went out of bounds at. He's going to say the still walking and not stopping to walk. Okay, the 46-yard line of the Cienega side of the field. Here, Jamari Joyner comes out. Jamari Joyner won the Ed Dougherty recognition last week, and it's a recognition given to an Arizona player that does a great job, and he was one of 5 players to do it in Arizona last week. When you were recognized for this, you were invited to the Scottsdale Resort at McCormick Ranch for a lunch with all the players throughout the season that got this recognition.
And I think that this recognition also just means that he's an amazing player, and they're actually showing that he's, recognizing him as an amazing player, which he really is.
A fumble is recovered by Tyree McKinney of the Bobcats. And talking about that lunch, that's going to be a lunchroom filled with a whole lot of good football players.
And honestly, if it were me, I'd be scouting out my people, people that I'm going to end up going against possibly. These are all players with the capability to make it to the college level, and all of them are dangerous players. You might be going up against them.
Yeah, we saw Nick Brayler from Ironwood Ridge, the running back. He won that award last week, or actually the week before that. Jamari Joyner drops the ball momentarily, but picks it back up and into the secondary, and looks like no one will catch him at the 10-yard line. Jamari Joyner in for a 51-yard touchdown run. Joyner out of the trenches, finds a hole, uses his speed for that long touchdown run.
That right there is an incredible play by Jamari Joyner, and it's not the fact of his speed or his quickness. It's all about the mentality, the mental, the IQ for a QB to know that he is in trouble and he has no way of passing, and being able to say, you know what, I got to run this one, and being able to find those gaps in the defense to make that play happen. That is definitely a clap right there for him.
And a high snap, but a great job by Luis Morales to keep it from going in the backfield, and a good kick from Ezra Figueroa.
Barbecue chicken. Always depend on barbecue chicken, I'm telling you.
21-0 is the score. Don't go away, folks. We saw a kind of similar situation. Cienega was up 24 points last week, and they only won by 1 point in overtime.
And I've talked to people about that, and they said that they stopped watching about halfway mark just because it seemed like a blowout, and they missed the best game of the season by far in competition level and just intensity as a football. Every single sorry, but when you watch your own football team, you have that same exact intensity when you're watching.
And how about you tell the viewers how Bolnow felt about that game? Coach Bolnow.
Bolnow was not happy just because it's his defense that was defending Ironwood Ridge, and his defense that made the drop there and put pressure on the offense. And in my opinion, the defense is the most important part of a team, just because if you can stop the other side from scoring, you could have a decent, average offense and still win games off of your defense.
The kick is up, and it is received on the 4-yard line by Varney Larson, and he cuts right side after he was way left, and a fumble on the play is recovered by the Bobcats. Wow. 21-0, and you have a fumble recovery from the Bobcats on a special teams play.
And you know what? I've never seen a band leave the stands with 5 minutes still to go. They didn't even want to watch. They knew what's happening, and they even left their equipment up there. Look at that. They left their equipment. I don't think they want to see.
Calm down. They're right there.
I know.
They're to the left side. Looks like they're maybe preparing for halftime.
Yep.
with 4:52 remaining for halftime as the Bobcats recover on the 30-yard line by a fumble from Varney Larson.
And I think the Cienega effect is kicking in like legs in quicksand right now. Wouldn't you say so, Jacob?
I would have to say so. Everybody's sitting. Joyner in motion to the right, looks left, and he's going to take it himself. Jamari Joyner with speed. Gets a good gain there.
And they always run at a horizontal angle as a quarterback to gain the most possible yards without taking any damage. And right there, that was a smart play by Jamari Joyner, taking what he can get and moving on to the next play. You know, and that's the thing with QBs. They get injured because they try getting more than what they should bargain for. And that's where injuries come into play. And Jamari Joyner, that just shows his IQ.
And that's why Joyner is so unstoppable. Because as a defense, you watch film, there's no way to stop him. He runs. It looks like he might run, but he can throw on the run also. We've seen it a lot of times, most notably to Jerry White last week for that long throw down the field.
And would you say with his physical and IQ that he has, that he is probably one of the best quarterbacks we ever had, if not the greatest that we've had here at Cienega?
Well, I haven't been there to test that, but it looks like that he has from his numbers.
It does, but I would have to say that as a team as a whole, this team is probably one of the best, including last year's Cienega team, which was, according to Mr. Bull now, probably one of the best.
Yeah. 2nd and 4. Bobcats had a flag, which backed them up 12 yards. And Joyner, 2 receivers to each side of him. Movement from Mountain View. Joyner, no back set, looking to throw. Receivers, and Joyner finds nobody and will take it himself. Joyner escapes the tackle for a moment, but then is taken down at about the 30-yard line.
And Jacob, how would you compare this class and this team to past classes and football teams?
Which class, 2019 or 2018?
2018 and 2017.
2018 is highlighted by Jamari Joyner. But last year, they had great players. Dakota Poe, who is now at the U of A redshirting. Braden Bolton, who I think is at Mesa Community College. Chris Vega, the great cornerback. Bryce Fontana, the lineman. And there's Rodney Rogers for a 31-yard touchdown reception. He just led in front of the cornerback, and which brings the lead to 27-0. Great read from Jamari Joyner.
Yes, and I would honestly have to say that that kind of play right there just shows you what kind of player and what kind of IQ this whole team has as a whole. Jamari Joyner being the leader and all of his receivers following in line, including the running backs. Being able to make plays is the skill level that the Cienega team has as a whole, and in my opinion, one of the best teams I've ever seen play football live.
And Ezra's kick is straight through the middle. He is 4 for 4 on the day on extra points. 28-0, 3:49 left in the second.
Would you say that Ezra Figueroa has the ability to go to NFL?
NFL? No. Okay. D1? Maybe. He still is a junior. He's gonna have a lot of practice in this year, the playoffs, and next year. And I think he'll be an impact player at a D1 school. How do you feel about him?
I honestly believe that he doesn't have the capability to go to a NFL team, but I do believe that he has the capability to be one of the best D1 college kickers, only because the level of accuracy you need at a NFL and college level are so high, just because you have top schools, players rushing at you at, fast speeds, and you need to be able to have your concentration, and that just takes, I think, a lot of practice, but I think he's able to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of D1 schools have trouble finding a kicker, and I think he'd be a good fit for a D1 school. I also think Aaron Aros, who's at Mesa Community College, should get a D1 spot. He was spectacular last year.
I don't recall which one, but I want to say the 2017's class kicker or the 2018. I want to say it was 2017's class kicker. I have never seen anybody punt the ball so high in my life.
Aaron Aros?
I
Wait,
think
punter?
He's a punter.
Oh no, then we're not.
I don't know if that was his position, but he punted the
no.
ball so high. It was almost incredible to see how high it went.
Aros didn't punt, but I can't recall who did the punting duties for Cienega last season. And a mountain lion is in motion, and he takes it himself for a first down, and it is number 5, Edward Gastelum, which looks like he gets his first carry of the night, and it is a good one, which gets him a first down.
And something I didn't really recognize until later on in my football viewing career is how flexible kickers have to be with how high their kicks are. I've seen some kickers with their shins or I can't even recall, but they're able to put their legs so high. It's almost incredible to see.
And a pass from Alcala turns Edward Gastelum, and it is incomplete. Not a great pass there from Alcala. Which brings up 2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line. Second and 10, a handoff to number 2, Gabara Mene B. Jr. Looks like on his first carry of the night.
And you know what? It's kind of good to see that the run game has not been totally disastrous for this team. What do you think they need to do to recover from this treacherous 28 deficit that they have going for them?
Going into the game, we knew that run is what they do. And like you said, it looks like run hasn't really worked for them. That's why we see a big 0 on that scoreboard right there. They need to start passing it. Oh, and a good tackle there from number 45, Anthony Williams, who met the carrier behind the line. Big Anthony Williams, the junior, is going to make a big impact on this team, and especially next year.
Would you say that the passing of a team excels when they have a good quarterback or a good receiver?
Well, definitely both got to go hand in hand. But if I was going to pick one, the quarterback has to be better. You can have some receivers that aren't too great, but a great quarterback that make those receivers look good. Because when a quarterback can find, what do you think?
Personally, I think, like you said, it has to come at a balance. It has to come at a peak and a climax where they both meet. But I think it mainly depends on most likely the quarterback, because a quarterback is like a point guard in basketball. Like Lonzo Ball, your favorite player, makes other players
not
better.
Favorite.
Stop lying.
Okay, not.
He's terrible, but you know what?
Right.
Somebody who can make somebody better is what you want, and a quarterback is that. Just the same in any sport, you need a leader, and I think the quarterback is your main
Do you want to
leader.
start a Skip and Shannon, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith kind of thing? Because I'll do that right now.
I'd probably be I'd probably be Skip. Wait, no, I'd be Shannon.
You'd be Shannon.
I'd be Shannon. You'd be Skip. You'd be Max Kellerman, and I would be Stephen A. Smith.
Right. All right, we're not going to get into that. But
We're not going to get into that.
4th and 6, and the punting unit is on for the Mountain Lions. And it is Brandon DeVoy. He's seen a lot of punting here in the first half. They haven't been able to convert on those third downs. And it's not DeVoy, it is Artemia Hoyas, and it's not a great kick. It stays on the Mountain View side of the field, and that's where Cienega will start their first drive at about the 46-yard line of the Mountain Lions side of the field.
Now, would you prefer, Jacob, to have an amazing offensive line or an amazing defensive line? How do you think which one impacts the game at a greater level, and which one do you think you can get away with more in a football game?
I think the offensive line is the most important position on a football team. They go into protecting the quarterback, protecting the receivers, and they also go into how long can they keep the offense on the field, which gives the defense a rest. I think it's an important on the field. And a long pass from Joyner right out of the hands of Jerry White. Just a little over Jerry White, but that's a pretty good coverage there, one-on-one coverage. So back to your point, a defensive line secondary can usually maybe cover up from that if you have a good secondary.
I would have to agree with you on that one, but I do believe that the offense is probably the most important part. The offensive line is probably the most important and most underrated part of a football team, just because of the amount of cleanup that they do for quarterbacks and receivers, and just the amount of protection. You know, some people's careers lie in the hands of these offensive line players, and I think most people don't understand that.
Great protection here from Joyner, but now he's rushed out. Joyner throws and over the head of Terrell Huggins.
Now, Jacob, what would you say Cienega depends on more, their running or their passing?
Their pass. Well, I
would have to say they're running.
Yeah.
Only because
Joyner
is a huge contributor to the running, the running yards, and they have Terrell Owens. I'm sorry, Terrell Huggins, Gio Owens, and Terrell Hayward, who are a huge contributor to that running, and that is the main force that they have is their running. And I think they have great passing and great wide receivers, but that is their key.
Well, Joyner is taken down in the backfield. A sack by number 12, Weston Aguilar.
That right there is just unacceptable right there. The offensive line needs to do a better job of covering up those gaps. And you know what? That's just a great job by Mountain View.
And Joyner had some time, but then all he saw was Weston Aguilar, and there's the defensive line that I was talking about again. They've done a great job protecting Jamari Joyner, but they've had some mistakes going back to the South Point game.
Yes, they have. And you know what? When playoff time comes and you have teams that are so prepared and are at the same level of skill that they are, you cannot let that happen, because if you give a team an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's just the way it works in life, period. And right there, they gave them that, and they pounced upon it, and they might have just lost this drive of getting an extra touchdown to make it 34-0.
35-0 with the extra point from
35 with the extra point.
So you're saying Barbecue Chicken would have missed it there, or you're just not good at
No,
math?
I'm just saying that with the drive on the touchdown, they would have got the touchdown.
Okay, I hope Mr. Avy's listening. 34, no.
It would have been 34. It's 6 points for a touchdown.
Okay, but Ezra's been 4 for 4, likely going to be 5 for 5.
And
Jamari Joyner.
He's Barbecue Chicken. He's going to make it.
Yeah, so likely 35. Okay, Jamari Joyner in on the punt.
Oh my God, Jacob. Yes, and I think that they're going to definitely have to get a touchdown
Joyner
this one.
long punt, and it is received by number 3, Gabara. And, great special teams there. And Brett Hawley is very happy on the sideline. Great special teams defensive play there. Gabara Mene B. Jr. on the return. Not really a return, though.
Not really much of a return at all. You might as well just call it a stand in place, let him tackle you, because you literally walked to the outside corner, trying to walk the tightrope, and then said, "No, I think I'm just gonna go back." And you just let that happen, and you just literally force yourself to have to work extra hard in this minute and 9 seconds to get a touchdown, which is worth 6 points, Jacob. Mr. Avey, please tell this man that I'm right. Just please,
Plus the 100% Ezra Figueroa.
Figueroa.
Figueroa,
yeah.
On my roster, it's Figueroa, so I'm going to call him that. Okay.
He's Barbecue Chicken.
And Alcara to throw, and it is way over and out of the hands of Thomas Webb. It looked like a pass to the Cats in the middle of the field, but he didn't catch it.
No, he didn't, Jacob. And I think that right there is just a problem with communication between wide receiver and
No. I'm talking about the cat on the field.
Oh, the cat on the field. I'm talking about.
Were you talking about Thomas Webb?
No, I'm talking about how the Mountain View quarterback had a miscalculation with how he was supposed to throw the ball and where the player was, because that was a perfectly set play, just a little bit of miscommunication.
A handoff to Larson. He's very speedy. Whoa, a spin and a first down. Two
And
spins there from Larson.
You can definitely see that the fans are a little bit in the game, and so are the players, but still it seems a little bit depressing, it looks like, to see the score here being 28-0 with the clock winding down with 50 seconds left to play.
But don't go away, folks.
But don't go away.
Alcara, 45 seconds running. Clock is running. Alcara looking to throw, steps up, throws. Right side, he has an open receiver, and it is caught by number 4. And out of bounds he goes. It is number 4, Joshua Hart. Great read there from Alcara. And now they need to get a big play here, and looks they'll be in scoring range with 33 seconds to go. You got to get out of this half with the score. A player is shaken up on the play. It's either Dylan Hoos. Yeah, Dylan Hoos is shaken. Oh, no, it's not Dylan Hoos. There's a player on the sideline that is injured. Kyle Bowen is attending.
And you know what? Right there, we just saw the quarterback's throwing up capabilities right there. He struggled a little bit to get the ball there. It was a great pass, but you can tell he put his all into that throw. And that was at least, I would say, what would you say, like a 40-yard pass possibly?
Yeah,
maybe way less.
The quarterback he's definitely not no passer. He still has some passing ability.
He definitely does. But I think it's more so about those quick pass, a lot of cuts that the wide receivers have to make. Definitely nowhere in the shotgun Hail Mary area, I would say.
Rodney Rogers was the one shaken up, and he was a little shaken up in last game too. You think maybe at his size that can create more of a chance of injury?
I always like to look at players' builds, what their height, what their weight is, because that always designates them into a category of whether or not they can take a hit or not, and what their physical attributes are. But I think, honestly, any player can get injured at any height and at any weight, just because of how rough football is as a sport.
Alcara throws, screen pass to Adams, and he steps out of bounds, which is good because it stops the clock at 27 seconds.
Now, I would honestly have to say they have made a big improvement with the way that they are pushing now the passing game. Jacob, how much would you say that their passing game has come into play now more so than it has in the first quarter?
Big, and this might be a problem for Cienega coming into the second half, because it seems like they've found something that's working as they're marching down the field kind of here on the 38-yard line.
And I think it brings, like I said, balanced teams are the hardest ones to go against, because you cannot really prepare for either one, just because you can't really study favorite plays that a team has on throwing or running. So I think this is what they need to go with, is, grooming that quarterback to be able to pass and, possibly make this game interesting. Still a lot of time for them to come back.
A while to get the playoff here on 2nd and 8. Okay, there we go now. Alcara, a pass straight down the middle, and almost picked off by Stephen Harshman, the academic prodigy and also a football prodigy, recruited by some schools like, I forgot what it was. Miss Miller told me Yale, Harvard, maybe. I don't know. I forgot.
And those are some pretty high standard schools for him to be being recruited by. Definitely something to look into, and I hope that, honestly, every football player on this team has the capability to go to the next level, in my opinion, just because of their their maturity that they have.
Alcara, a strike down the middle. Oh, incomplete. And the receiver, number 4, Joshua Hart, was looking for a flag. And that brings up 4th and 8. They're definitely going to go for it here. It doesn't seem like they really have a kicker. Aramis Huser would be the kicker, and he is number 19. He was 85% last year on extra points, but this is much more than an extra point that they're looking at. And Alcara will start 4th and 8. Cienega looking to get out of the first half with a shutout that Coach Bullnow was hoping for. And a pass downfield, and this one is intercepted by a Bobcat. Taking it downfield is Terrell Huggins, and stopped up with 5 seconds to go on the 32-yard line. And Cienega will probably just down it here to get into the second half.
And
28-0.
Cienega effect is sinking in like water down a drain right now. Just seeing, how fans react to a score like this, it's really disheartening for the players to not have that fan support. But I think Mountain View is a strong enough team to where they know that they can come back and have that belief. And I know that they probably are. The coaches are probably telling them that they have a whole entire other half to come back, and 28 is nothing.
Well, 24 definitely didn't phase Ironwood last time, as Joyner knees it, and we go into the second half, 28-0. The Bobcats lead here in Vail, Arizona, on this nice weather night. How are you feeling, McVeigh?
I'm feeling very confident in Cienega's play, and I'm also feeling very confident in the way that Mountain View has a sort of like a nonchalant attitude about it, and I think they have the full confidence to go into the next game, into the next quarter, with the ability to come back.
I'd have to agree with you. Great coaches always set a plan. Always set a plan in the locker room on how to come back. Let's get a defensive stop. Let's do this to score. Another defensive stop. Let's do this to score. And they did a great job at it last week. You think the head coach can do the same here?
I do think so, and I think that I even talked to Mr. Avey about this. I said, you don't want to really miss this game, because this game can either be a bust or it can be one of the most competitive games of the season. And you know what? You have to watch this game all the way until the fourth quarter, just because of the full capability of this team that beat Ironwood Ridge, I believe, right?
Yeah. This team beat Ironwood Ridge 28-23. And we're going to take a break here.
You who have not looked in sorrow will never see joy.
raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
The joy is not in things, it is in thought.
As we prepare to honor the seniors, I wanted to bring attention to the class of 2007. I believe they're in the house tonight. 2007 is doing their reunion. You know you got a great program and a great school when you've got alumni coming back all the time. Thank you for being here tonight and celebrating with us. The class of 2007. All right, here we go. Let me just personally say something about this program. And I've said it before, when I come in the morning very early, these guys are already getting after it. When I leave at night, they're still getting after it. They're passionate, they're dedicated, they're committed to bringing us performances week after week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's honor tonight the seniors of the Copper Thunder Marching Band. Senior, Razel Aceto. Senior, Tristan Acevedo. Senior, Caitlin Avina. Senior, Gemma Baird. Senior, Emma Bauer. Senior, Ryan Bill. Senior, Alexander Brandstrom. Senior, Antonio Camacho Hernandez. Senior, Wyatt Carrizosa. Senior, Abigail Chiara. Senior, Marcus Hawkins. Senior, Stephanie Honecker. Senior, Lilia Hurd. Senior, Bryce Hurley. Senior, Zach Jameson. Senior, Brian Jones. Senior, Brianna Clem. Senior, Lindsay McCarthy. Senior, Logan Murphy. Bianca Ortega. Senior, the trumpet man, Stephen Phillips. Senior, Antonio Pizarro. Senior, Soraya Pozell. Senior, Gabrielle Russell. Senior, Jackson Sweeney. Senior, Chase Williams. And senior, Faith Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, can't say enough about the dedicated work of Director Jim Assassino and the Copper Thunder Marching Band. Their performances are just a witness of the work they put in. Ladies and gentlemen, seniors, Copper Thunder Marching Band. While we're waiting on the team, we can't do all this Friday night without corporate sponsors, Eric's Family Dental, Agero, A-G-E-R-O, Awards to Go, Baggage Gourmet Sandwiches, Bling by Design, Dairy Queen, Dina Hogg, Real Estate Agent, Dr. MD, Our Doctor, Sports Institute of Tucson, Hofstra Heating and Cooling, Johnson's of Southern Arizona, the Grassies, Mama's Pizza, Montgomery's Grill, Noonan Physical Therapy, Nova Financial, Jeff Daniels, Nova Home Loans, Rick Hillman, Pizza Hut, Radiology LTD, Rincon Air Conditioning and Heating, Reven Custom Builders, Solutions I3, Flame Associates, Bell Family Dentistry, Vantage West Credit Union, and Walker Family Dentist, Walker Family Medicine, the Walker family.
You just hit enter.
Welcome back. The Bobcats lead by 4 touchdowns coming into the second half, as I am Jacob Greenberg alongside McVeigh Butler III, and as he is enjoying his blue raspberry snow cone purchased by the marching band snack bar that they have over there. How is this snow cone?
It is quite delicious. Honestly, they have some of the best food I've ever had. Definitely something you should all come try out when you guys when you guys come here to the games. If you guys do come to the games, they have some amazing food here that you definitely need to try out. I'm just super excited to see how this second half pulls out. It seems like it's going to be a turn of events like it has been in the last past week, just because this team did defeat Ironwood Ridge, and I am expecting a comeback, and I believe that the coaches riled up their players for an amazing second half.
Well, that's the question here for the Mountain Lions as they are approaching to come onto the field for the second half. Can they do something here to dip into that score, get a stop on defense, score on offense, which they haven't done in the first half?
And that is what worries me about this game. Your defense needs to be perfect, and your offense. If you can stop them for about 3 drives, you're back in the game. If your offense can be on point for 3 drives, you can be back in the game. So you have to fight 2 battles, the offensive battle and the defensive battle. That takes a very disciplined team, and Ironwood Ridge is probably one of the most disciplined teams I've seen. I think they're probably one of the only teams capable of doing that, but I believe that this team is just as well coached as they are.
2 minutes to go before we start action for the second half. The marching band seniors got recognition here at halftime for what they've done in 4 years for the marching band program. And as Mr. Nichols said, he sees them when he comes here in the morning, and then they're still working when he leaves here at night.
And honestly, that's just a great point by Mr. Nichols. Honestly, every sport, every club works 24/7. It seems like on their skills, on their game, and whatever it is. If it's a club, they're always working on it. The band, I know, works very hard. I know they practice for hours and hours. I've seen them on a football field just marching. That's got to be a pretty good workout, marching with all those heavy musical instruments. Wouldn't you say so, Jacob?
I'd have to agree.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Well, Bobcat listeners, I hope you guys are enjoying the game. Don't go anywhere. We have a very, very interesting half of football, and we got to see how it unfolds together on this one. Wouldn't you say so, Jacob?
Or maybe we don't.
Or maybe we don't. But I honestly have to say that this team stretching like that, other team ain't stretching. We're not stretching. So I can definitely tell that they are prepared for this, and they are looking like a bunch of little Spider-Men, wouldn't you say?
Well, they're doing groiners
Right.
as Mr. Schween takes his weight classes through every day.
Every day.
He's the athletic weight training coach, and he's also a coach on the football team. Watches from up above. He's right here to our right in the press box. Steve Schween. And the horn sounds. And here we go. And how are your chips, Isaac?
Delicious.
Isaac right there, our cameraman. And we also have Tanner Peterson, Jory Paul, and Caitlin Matisco. And we have Bella Cousins, Jason Miller, the man, and Jillian Summers. Did I already say that? On the field. And Nick Lear. It's a great club we have going here.
It is. It really is. Like I said, every club, every activity that we have on this team, they're all dedicated and very willing to work hard to accomplish anything. And that's the kind of attitude that Cienega brings to all their students here. Jacob is dancing over here for some awkward reason.
Oh, because the spirit line has me going here, and the kick is off. Mountain Lions receive in the second half. Oh, Sergio Torres there on the tackle. The junior.
Torres. Special teams. Special teams having a night.
And going back to that spirit line that you were talking about, coached by Vanessa Romeo, my Spanish 2 teacher, really an amazing person. I love her to death. She's probably one of the funnest teachers on campus. She is going to be cheering the Arizona game that's coming up, home game.
Like an alumni thing?
Alumni. That's
Wow.
exactly what it is. So definitely go check her out, cheering for our amazing Arizona team, if that's
And-
your team, I would say.
And she was an actual cheerleader for them, am I right?
She was an actual cheerleader for them. Definitely an amazing coach. Everybody on campus loves her, and it looks like the cheerleaders look up to her as a cheer coach and somebody who cheered themselves.
Josh Hart on the reception.
Josh Hart on the reception there. Second and 8 from the 27. 2-yard reception from Josh Hart. Alcala back in to look to score some points here for the Mountain Lions as they have a 0 up there right now. It's not good to go in a half with a 0. And Alcala keeps it himself and has a little bit of space. Oh. And it looks like that was Terrell Hayward that made him go flying there. Did you see that?
I did see that. It looks like he went on a trampoline and then somebody tackled him in midair. I don't think I've ever seen anybody fly that high. I think that was a good 4 feet off the ground right there. That's pretty darn dangerous for your quarterback to be taking a hit like that, wouldn't you say so, Jacob?
Definitely dangerous.
Definitely dangerous.
Can you save the snow cone for later, please?
It's a snow cone.
It's very.
There is no later.
It's kind of chilly out here. It can be saved for later. 3rd and 1, and Adams in the backfield. He'll take it. Well, and a strong defensive line there from the Bobcats. A flag comes flying in.
And you can kind of see here, this is the first time I've seen a little bit of an aggression by Mountain View, kind of fighting back. Like I've always said, when you're on that field, players do talk smack to you. And I think it's just only natural that you take a little bit of an aggressive push and you like to push players. And it does cause a little bit of some trauma that nobody else can really feel except the players.
So a flag on the Bobcats will add 5 yards to, and it is a face mask. And we'll add 5 yards to the Mountain Lions on their opening drive. If you get a score here, that's big because you take a lot of confidence into that sideline. Alcala, and it is Larson on the carry, but quickly taken down in the backfield for a loss. Dante Bodie, or is it Bowdy? Because that's what I hear Nichols calling him.
I would have to say Bowdy.
Okay.
But that's an amazing play right there. That's what you want to see from this defensive line. Stopping those kind of plays is what is keeping them with this humongous lead and is going to allow them to bring in their second string, which I think have already gotten some reps, but their third string to get some experience here. And this is where we were talking about how the new upcoming freshmen are going to get some experience from some of our, not so much veterans, but so much as our key players that we have here at the Cienega football team.
2nd and 14 after the 4-yard loss. And there is a flag.
Timeout, Mountain View.
Never mind, a timeout from Mountain View.
And there is a man running on the field trying to give water to the refs.
And it looks like they have a competition or something. The Cienega Sports Med and the Mountain View Sports Med, they come rushing out trying to see who gets to the referees first.
Well, I think that the competition goes to Cienega on this one because you got a Big Pinky over there trying to hurry up as fast as he can. And only Cienega Sports Med is getting there a little bit quicker. So I think the competition is over. But definitely.
Is Cienega win that one?
Cienega did win that one. They did.
Do you think they're going to go 2-0 tonight?
I think they might go 2-0 tonight, but, I think there's always battles in every situation. But I think that this is it's gonna get interesting very soon.
Alcara calling for motion. A quick pass, and it is incomplete.
Moves. And break it up.
And we are snow cone filled up here with a root beer, another root beer, a blue raspberry, and a blue raspberry to my right side. It looks like I'm the only one that doesn't have one.
It is, and you know what? I'm very sorry, Jacob. I would honestly pay for you, but I don't think I have any more money.
Sure. Okay. 3rd and 14. Alcara and Adams in the backfield. 3 receivers right to Alcara and 1 to his left. And he'll take it himself. Never mind. Oh, and a pass overthrown to Adams. He was wide open. And is that a hard pass to make?
It is a hard pass, but you know what? Honestly, I've never viewed passes as hard to make because honestly, wouldn't you say every pass is hard to make just because there's always somebody on your tail trying to get to you as fast as possible. So I don't think it's more so a hard pass to make, but a hard catch to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Special teams on Hayward back.
Was it funny?
No, it's just your reaction.
No,
Very funny.
you gave me tips at halftime to say I need to agree with you more. I agreed with you there.
No, it's more so of a tip as to the viewers. They don't want to hear that subtle pause, Jacob.
Right. 4th and 14 on the kick, and Hayward's returning it. Speedy Gonzalez, and he's on the sideline and will be taking down his second big punt return. And oh my,
Hayward.
That's just unacceptable right there.
it is
Giving away great field position against a Cienega team that is up by 28 is so dangerous, and this is why teams are not able to close because they have to worry every single position and every single lineup that they send out there if they can stop Cienega.
Yeah, and if I'm a Mountain View Mountain Lion and I'm being yelled at by the special teams coach, you just got to say to him, it's Terrell Hayward. Did you watch film? Did you see him in the other games? How are we going to stop him?
But you know what? Honestly, I think Terrell Hayward is a player you can stop. It just depends as a unit. Can you stop him by using all the capabilities at every position? That's why I think stopping him comes in hand.
Because you're not going to do it one-on-one.
You're not going to do it one-on-one.
If this is a word, he's too jukey for you.
He's too jukey for you. That's a new one. I think we're going to have to look at that. That might be in urbandictionary.com, but not in the real dictionary.
Google search maybe?
Google search maybe. But definitely something to look out there. But honestly, don't we have a lot of jukey players on this team?
Joyner Owens.
Joyner Owens is definitely one of them. Terrell Hayward.
You can even add Rogers into there.
Rogers is definitely one of them.
And Hayward. Oh, there's a juke that we were just talking about. Jukey. Another juke.
Oh, Jukey.
Hard tackle there by number 2, Aaron Logsden. But we saw Mr. Jukey there, and he gets to the 1-yard line.
And not jukey enough, it seems, right there. He definitely juked out at least 3 players on that play, but not enough to get that touchdown because one was trailing him from behind. Do you think that when players try being too fancy, that it gives them an opening to get tackled from other directions, not being able to see?
Well, I don't think he got too fancy there. He made 3.
I don't either. I'm just trying to understand your opinion on somebody making a juke and it costing them a touchdown.
And, okay, I'm not going to answer. Wait, ask me a question later. Thomas Webb in for the touchdown, a 1-yard touchdown run. We've seen a lot of those 1-yard touchdown runs, and it looks like Pat Nugent loves to put Thomas Webb in on that play. Get him. He's a very strong, got a lot of power to him. Let him rush it in for the end zone. 1-yard touchdown run, Thomas Webb, and Ezra Figueroa is on to make it a 35-point lead.
Barbecue chicken right there. That's barbecue chicken. I'm telling you, he is one of the best kickers I've seen, and I've seen a couple of U of A games, and I don't think there's that many kickers with that skill level that he has.
Well,
I'm very serious. I've seen about 2, one this year and one last year, and he has the capability of a starting kicker, field goal kicker on a team.
We are at a different level. They come off a lot faster off that edge at the college level.
They do, but I think that he has the poise and ability to develop into a D1 college kicker.
By the time
he reaches senior year, I think he'll be an elite kicker that is scouted.
So 35-0, 7:54 left in the third, and it looks like they're just going to continue what has happened in the first half. That would have been big for the Mountain Lions to score there on the first drive, unable to do it. And now they're going to have their second drive. Try and get something here, get a little confidence.
And as a coach, would you be pleased with the performance that you've seen from the Cienega Bobcats and vice versa with the Mountain View football team?
Well, from what we saw last week in that second half, let's see what happens in the second half. And we have another Juki, number 4, Joshua Hart. Whoa! To the 45-yard line of the Cienega side of the field. Great return there.
Amazing return right there. And you know what? That is something that is going to give them that confidence booster. And that broke the Cienega effect. Wouldn't you say so, Jacob, right there? I think fans moved a little bit right there. Definitely the players got riled up, and you can tell that they were yelling and trying to give them that extra mental momentum to keep going.
Marching band coming back into the stands for the first time in the night.
They are, and I think this is where they're going to try having a little bit of interest now. But I think it's all about from here going on whether or not you can balance out your running game and your passing game and get a couple of consecutive drives of touchdowns. That is where the game will be determined within these next couple of drives.
Adams on the carry, and a 3-yard gain there on 2-yard gain. 3-yard gain there on the carry.
Williams. Schlegel.
2nd and 7
Ball up on the line, 2.
after the amazing return from Joshua Hart.
And Jacob, how big do you think it is to have a big, strong defensive line to break up plays?
Well, the defensive line, Larson there on the reception for a first down. So what was your question again?
How big do you think it is to have a strong defensive line to be able to stop teams?
On defense, it starts with your defensive line.
It does.
Okay, and that's why they call it the secondary, because they come in second, right? And so as the defensive line, you break through, you cause pressure. You make it easier for the defensive line, and you rush the quarterback to make bad throws or make a bad run or sack him. So defensive line is definitely big.
I would have to agree with you there. I think that with Mountain View, they have huge potential to become a better throwing team, only because they do seem to have some wide receivers that have shown potential with the way that they've caught the ball and the way that they've showed poise when getting the ball thrown to them with heavy coverage. But I also believe that they need to improve their quarterback position and their trust in their quarterback.
Yeah. And coming into the game, when we had our interviews with coaches, what was it that Mountain View was great at? Their lines, and that's what they're highlighted by, is their offensive and defensive line. As Adams finds a hole here. Oh, maybe, nope. Adams doesn't go down, then finally goes down. Some extracurricular activity from Zach Mattis, and that will push forward the Mountain Lions.
Extracurricular activity right there. I never
Yes.
even knew you could use that word in this matter, but you know what? It definitely was
you
right there.
definitely can. I took it straight from Kirk Herbstreit of ABC Productions.
And that is a great place to get it from. But right there, as you can see, Zach Matt is getting a little bit furious with the way things have been going. A little bit of aggression. Like I always say, you never know what players say to each other, but it always brings up that aggression. And when you're always hitting people, it becomes a little bit of second nature to push back on people. And that does ruin your chances. And it possibly gave him a touchdown right here to give him that confidence that you don't want to give him.
It looks like a 15-yard penalty here. Yep. Oh, a pass from Alcara, way over the head of the receiver, almost to Diego Ruby. The safety checked out the cornerback for the Cienega Bobcats.
And if I were them on these next couple runs, use your running ability. You've shown great poise at that position and being able to pound the ball inside with power runners that we've seen. If they can get a touchdown, it'll boost their confidence and give more confidence to players that they need to provide for them, such as their quarterback and their defensive line, offensive line, and even give some energy to the crowd.
Definitely agree with you on that one. 2nd and 10 from the 13. Larson in motion. Alcara, Larson adds another receiver to the right side, but then goes in motion. Here is number 2, and that is Gabara Menebi Jr. in for the touchdown, and that puts the Mountain Lions onto the board. And big boy number 66, Chris Daly of the Mountain Lions, is all fired up, and that gives a little bit of confidence to that sideline.
It definitely does, and like I said, if they can create a big run play like that and use what their strengths, they can possibly give energy to this whole entire crowd, this whole entire team. And, you know, being a fan, you never want to see your team down, but when you can cheer for them with a touchdown, you give energy to all the players, and it just makes the game a lot more interesting.
And Aramis Huser on for the kick, and it's good. Again, he converted 85% of his extra points last year. And makes it 35-7. They cut it within 28. Sounds like a lot. It is.
It definitely is, but you know what? Giving them this type of energy, it's still third quarter, 5:55 on the clock. You can definitely tell that they're a little bit more confident in their game, and they can see how they can model their runs after it. But that 15-yard penalty right there by Zach Mattis definitely hurt them and caused the drive.
And I have a serious question for you here. Do you think that play broke the statue effect?
I honestly do, only because you can see the crowd is happy now. They have something to cheer for. It's like, you know, it's like in basketball. Nobody really liked or could cheer for the 76ers up until about this year and getting excited.
Yep.
But right here, you can see it broke the effect, and on top of that, it gives energy mainly to the players because now you're coming off a great drive. And now you can get in players' heads, and that'll cause more penalties to go their way. And as you can see with that 15-yard penalty that they put on Zach Mattis, he did not strike back after that penalty, after being pushed back, and that got them the touchdown right there. That's just smart football IQ right there by Mountain View.
And the Mountain Lions have to have the same motto as the 76ers here in this game. Trust the process. Score here, get a stop. Trust the process, fans.
And our cameraman over here definitely enjoyed that icy. His tongue is blue. It looks like a Oompa Loompa right now.
A little bit of too much sugar got into him. He's kind of jumping around here. It's making me a little bit mad right now. Can we switch spots, please?
No, we cannot, because that is your friend right there. But back to the game and the situation that the Mountain View. Is it Lions? Lions, right?
Mountain Lions.
Mountain Lions. What they're facing right now is they're facing a big deficit with only minutes to go. They have another quarter, but where do you think, is it their defense that needs to stop, or is it their offense that needs to convert?
Both.
Definitely both.
Joyner steps up, throws, long pass, and he has Stephen Horshman, the tight end, to the 15-yard line. Joyner from the 35-yard line to Stephen Harshman to the 15-yard line.
Mama, there goes that man. Jacob, who is going to stop that? Nobody can stop that. He literally put on the boosters, caught that pass, had to hurdle over somebody a little bit there, but look at the fans now. They just got excited, and now the Cienega effect has just restarted, recoiled back in, and now they just look like a bunch of statues. But at the same time, it looks like the defense is prepared on the Mountain View Lions side. They're still not wavered by this huge turn of events right here.
Stephen Harshman has made a big impact on this team, defense and offense. Vertical threat, 6'2". Gio Owens stopped there for a loss. Stephen Harshman, the tight end and linebacker, 6'2", 191.
Loss of 4 second and long cats.
And like I said here, you can see the Lions are definitely not giving in. Their defense right there made a quick defensive play right there and brought them back a couple yards, which is pretty promising to see on the defensive side, and a flag thrown right here. Jacob, did you see what the call would be?
timeout.
Cienega.
So I guess they use those flags to stop plays now, maybe?
I think they do, and I think it's only just like a way to get everybody to stop, because a whistle is one thing, but activity always happens. I think it's more so a thing for fans and sideline players to understand, and coaches to let them know that they got the message that they want a timeout.
So the Mountain Lions defense needs to stop here if they want to get back into this game. You've already done it on offense. Now you need to do it defensively so you can keep doing it on offense.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, a touchdown here would really hurt. That brings our deficit back to where it was, and it's just disheartening to see that. But I think that this defense is showing a little bit of fire out there with the last play being that they brought them back about 2-3 yards. So I think their confidence is still intact, but I think a touchdown here would really hurt them.
4:45, 2nd and 14 off of the 4-yard loss from Gio Owens. A motion play to Hayward, and he gets a good gain there.
And you know what, honestly, Hayward reminds me of Ezekiel Elliott just because even though he gets tackled, he dives sort of and keeps his balance just enough to gain that extra yard or two that gives him closer and closer. And that's something that NFL teams and college teams, especially at the college level, look for in a running back. Jacob, what are your thoughts about Terrell Hayward's ability to gain 2 yards off of his balance?
Well, I think he's great after contact. Even though he's, doesn't have the size for a wide receiver, he's still, I feel like he's still, even in those one-on-one, he'll still break out of it. A lot of speed, a lot of force. What is it? Force times, I'm not going to even say it. He's very fast, a lot of force. He's good at breaking tackles, good off the contact. First and goal for Cienega. Hey, what's that equation?
I think it's force times mass.
Equals acceleration?
Times acceleration. I think that would be it.
Equals acceleration.
Equals acceleration? Well, all I know is that Terrell Hayward has all of those.
Spin there, and Terrell Hayward down to the 2-yard line, 3-yard line. Can't take your eye off of him.
You honestly can't, but you know what? With so many targets on the field that you have to look out for, that is what gives Cienega that surprise, that danger that all teams have to face, is being able to stop multiple people. Because if you stop one, it doesn't necessarily mean you can stop the other, because they have at least about 5 options of players that they can get the ball to and count on. Jacob, how would you be able to stop Cienega, would you think?
Me personally, I can't. I just don't have the physical attributes to stop Cienega. 2nd and 3 from the 3-yard line. Nathan Amico takes it, and big power rusher there. Nathan Amico in for the touchdown.
And right there, this is where the confidence is going to take a big drop for Mountain View Lions, just because the score is 41-7. You're back to where you started. Your touchdown didn't mean anything on that drive. And, you can just see that, the fans, the band hasn't played a single line of music this whole entire time after the first quarter. And I think it's pretty disheartening to see that as a player. Going back to what I was saying, it's 41-7 right now, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. I think that this game is taking a big swing in Cienega's favor again. It's like a pendulum, it's swinging back and forth. It's been swinging this whole game in Cienega's favor. but I think that the offense is still fired up from that last drive that they had, and I think that they'll try this one to get that touchdown to try bringing this team back before the fourth quarter with at least a couple of touchdowns. Would probably be very promising to see from this team.
Cienega posting big numbers here on senior night. Why is there a 41 up there? Did I miss an extra point miss?
I don't believe we missed. Did we miss?
We were kind of having a conversation.
Oh, yes. Yes, I think he did miss. I just got word of it. He did miss that one, Ezra Figueroa. But I think Ezra's had a great night kicking.
Yeah.
And I think that it doesn't really matter at this point.
And Joshua Hart on for another big kickoff return. And finally taken down at the 37-yard line. Joshua Hart, his second big return tonight, which will give the Mountain Lions good field position, and that will maybe give them another opportunity to convert
And
again.
that's how they got it the last time.
Yeah.
And I think they're kind of depending on their run game a little bit here, but they're using all attributes to kind of weigh in this game. It's trying to be as balanced as possible to keep them guessing. And I think Mountain View has a real chance on this drive to score again. It'll all depend on whether or not the defense can stop the run and block as best as possible on the pitch plays that they try running.
Alcala with a handoff, and short gain there from Aaron Logsden. He's made an impact on defense tonight. The sophomore, 5'8", 180. There's a lot of sophomores on this roster.
Definitely is, and you know what? It's all about bringing them up. The 2019 class mixed in with the 2018 class is the big contributors to this team, and the 2019 class will be the next year's main key contributors. But I think it's pretty nice to see that the 2020 and 2021 class are trying to get involved in this varsity team early.
I counted 23 sophomores on this team compared to 2 for the Bobcats. So maybe when we come to those years, Cienega might have some trouble.
We might have some trouble, but I don't think that it'll impact that much because they're trying to give them that experience and that kind of that fighting spirit to go on to higher levels quicker and sooner. And I think it's all about whether or not you can force your way back into the same position that they are now with a highly capable team that is built by 2 classes.
Logston on the carry, and close to a first down. Dylan Hoos on the tackle, plus others.
And Jamari Joyner coming from South Point. How do you think he was a skill player to get for Cienega? And how do you think he's impacted us in these last 2 years?
Whatever happened over there has impacted the school so much because when he came over here, he transformed the ball team. They came off an iffy season, and past year is overthrown. Came off an iffy season. He comes in, takes over from Tyler Hammonds, who I think was playing collegiately now, and the impact he's made, winning the Ed Dougherty recognition last week. University of Arizona commit. What else? Great runner.
I think he's honestly probably one of the biggest skills in Cienega history, just because we took him from a competing school that we're always competitive with. South Point has a great program over there, and I think that it's just a blessing that we got him, and I think that it has impacted our program, and it possibly could result in a championship. You never know with the way this team is going. You can always keep your hopes high, knowing that you have Jamari Joyner running that quarterback position.
Joyner in at quarterback, as always, and a flag now is on the field. False start. Cienega backs them up 5 yards to the 23-yard line. 20 seconds to go here in the third. Maybe 1-2 more plays here for the Bobcats. Heading into the fourth quarter, up 34 points.
Jacob, do you think it's possible for them to come back in this game?
No.
No?
No.
I think that it is possible for them to have a little bit of a competitive run, only if they're able to pounce upon their abilities and their skills.
Actually, as a broadcaster, I was always taught, make it like the viewers think that there's a way to come back so they keep watching. So fans, stay tuned. The Mountain Lions need to stop here, okay, and they can do it. Then they need to show some offensive ability passing the ball, and they definitely can do it here, don't you?
Well, Cienega Bobcat viewers, a little bit of contradictory that we have here from our unexperienced broadcaster, but definitely a possibility for them to come back in this game. And honestly, next week and the following weeks to come are going to be the most interesting football for you guys to watch, and stay tuned. Me and Jacob are going to be commentating those games and to give you the playoff rundown. Definitely going to be the most fun weeks of football that we're going to have.
I'm unexperienced?
I don't think you're unexperienced. I just think you made a false option.
You have to keep the viewers thinking.
As a commentator, you always have to make the fans believe that there is more football to watch.
Yeah.
And there always is. And, you know, any football a watcher knows that the game isn't over until you see 3 zeros or 4 zeros on that clock.
And I was also taught not to eat while you're doing this, because the viewers will, and you're doing that, and the viewers hear the snapping. So if you hear that, please comment below. And I'm sorry for McVeigh Butler III eating his snow cone. That is very unprofessional.
I would have to say so myself. I'm very sorry, viewers, for about that. But I would like you guys to know this is only his first year trying to do commentating, and he is very
inexperienced. This is my second year. This is your first year.
And
this is my second year.
A hell of a job.
You just joined the club. You just joined the club this year. This is my second year.
Comment down below which one is better. And vote for McVeigh at mcveig'sthebest.com.
Please don't. Jamari Joyner moves in the backfield, and Connor Hawley off his hands. The Hawleys have made a great job on it. We see Connor Hawley on special teams a lot, and then his dad, I think it's Brett Hawley, special teams coach, played in the NFL and has done a great job coaching for this Cienega special teams team. And they've had a big night tonight, except for those 2 large runs that they gave up to Joshua Hart. Joyner in motion, rolling to his right, and breaks a tackle, but is tripped up out of bounds. And it is Weston Aguilar, who we've seen a lot.
And you know what, honestly, I'd have to say that the mental fortitude that this team has is definitely impressive to see. The players have not given up. And it's always good to have a fighting team. I think the coaches are pleased with that. Not pleased with the performance, so to speak, but pleased with the fight that they still have in them. And this game is not over. With 11:44 on the clock, anything can happen. As you saw in the Ironwood Ridge, close game.
Punts from Joyner, but there is a flag. A line drive kick. And it is picked up by number 3 of the Mountain Lions. And, maybe. Then he is taken down after not much of a run there. A lot of running, though, because he was going left to right, not this way. You know what I'm talking about? Can you cover up for me there?
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat what you said?
Oh, no. If you didn't hear it, never mind. Thank you. So... Talking to Coach Boltnow earlier, he said, keys to the game, need to stop the run. They've done that. And we need to play the full game out, which they've done so far.
And I think in any sport, playing the game 100% full out is always your goal. The game isn't over until you see zeros on that clock. And, I honestly have to say, Bull now is an amazing coach and just an amazing person all around. And I think that he has prepared his players for greatness. And I think that it's definitely going to give him the capability and that confidence to go out there every night and compete.
Is it when there's zeros on the clock or when the fat lady sings?
The what?
The fat lady sings?
No idea what you're talking about.
The game's not over till the fat lady sings?
No idea.
Okay. And Jamari Joyner, not a good punt. High punt towards the left sideline. Not a good punt at all.
We've seen some lackadaisical kicking today. What are your thoughts about the kicking performance on our punting, kickoff, and PAT attempts?
Well, after Joyner's in there on an offensive drive, then he has to punt it. It's a hard job to do, and I think he's done a great job. 39-yard punt average this year. Just maybe hit side of his foot. I don't know.
And, usually we always see such a magnificent high, kind of a vertical type of a kick. And I always am impressed with all of our kickers' capabilities. But I honestly have to say that our kicking is probably one of our key components that are undervalued on the team with Ezra Figueroa and Jamari Joyner.
Alcara, and White throws a strike down the middle, and as it is complete to number 5, Edward Gastelum.
Pass complete, taken down by Webb. First down.
First down for Alcala and his offense. And he'll keep it himself, running right side, and quickly wrapped up by a Bobcat. How far do you think this Mountain Lion team can go in the playoffs?
Well, this team being a huge contender and a possibly a championship run team, if you can't beat Cienega with at least, I would have to say, a 10-point deficit, your championship goals and thoughts are pretty much ruined unless you can fix those flaws. And it's not a point of whether or not they're well coached, but whether or not the players can do the job that they're told. And with a team that does 80% run and 20% passing, you need to have a balanced approach to the game. Because if you just depend on your running, players can be targeted, and that is why they usually always lose against a balanced team.
So Alcala, we see him running to the sideline after each play and getting a play from his coach. Jamari Joyner doesn't really do that. Is there a reason for that?
There is a reason for that because he is probably one of the most probably has the best IQ in Arizona as a quarterback, only because of his ability to make plays up on the fly, and that's why he's recognized by the U of A as a good player and why he got recognized as one of the best players in Arizona. And just an amazing guy on and off the field. But I think that his play relies on his IQ and his ability to use his athleticism to his advantage.
Third down as wind is blowing. It's getting a little bit chilly. 4th and 4. Alcala. And a handoff goes to Loxton. And it's stopped up. And that is a turnover on downs. And the offense will come back out here. And that, would you say that pretty much does it?
I would have to say it pretty much about does it, only because with the amount of time that they have on the clock, it is just becoming a bulldozer of a game with only minutes to go, 9 minutes, 53 seconds. I don't know if you can really come back from that.
And the train is passing by here in Vail. Listen to that train, ladies and gentlemen. It passes here about once a game, and it just really adds to how this culture is.
It really does. Being close to the tracks, it's I wouldn't say it adapts to our culture as much as I would say it just gives kind of that feeling that when a team is getting blown out, like you just feel like you just got hit by a train.
Like choo-choo?
Like choo-choo.
When you hear that, like the choo-choo, you feel like it means move over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It means watch out. And
Yep.
you know what? Being next to the tracks, it just means, hey, this is the home of the Cienega Bobcats, and it's hard to win here. The fans, you can see how loud they get just off of their cheer line.
And choo-choo.
And
this is
choo-choo.
Cienega Bobcats and choo-choo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Choo-choo.
And you're choo-choo buckets.
I am choo-choo buckets. Definitely didn't think I would ever be mentioned as that here.
Do you not want to be? Ruby.
Oh, no, I definitely do not mind.
Ruby
at
on the
all.
run. Great speed from Ruby, but he is tackled for a loss. Loss of 2 yards.
Ruby, his first carry, gets it out to the 20. We're going to bring it third down. Third 5 down.
Definitely an interesting game here to see, but this just gives you that confidence going into the playoffs. Wouldn't you say so, Jacob?
Oh, definitely. This adds a big confidence boost to all 60-plus or 50-plus players on that sideline going into the playoffs. Right now, it looks like they'd be playing Verado, but that definitely is to change this week as the rankings will change.
Jacob, going into the last game of the season, going into the playoffs, would you prefer to play against a playoff contending team or a non-playoff contending team that you could blow out like we've seen tonight?
Well, speaking to Bolnow earlier, and I definitely agree with him, you always want the bracket to go your way, and to do that, you want to avoid Centennial in all possible, all possible ways the bracket can be shown. The Bobcats played Centennial in the third round last year, got blown out, and they're trying to avoid them maybe till the state championship this year.
But do you think that waiting until the state championship makes it more possible for you to have a heartbreak loss?
I don't think so, because once you get past that second round, you're definitely going to play a tough team from most likely Phoenix. And you're going to start to get used to it, know what Centennial brings, and their running back, Zindane Thomas. I think Iowa State commit, or maybe just the offer, 2nd and 8 for the Bobcats here. 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 7 minutes left in the game, and Joyner calls a timeout.
Timeout, Cienega.
And there's Pinky.
There is Pinky right over there. Yep, and we have the speedster. Never seen anybody run that fast just to give somebody water. Quickest I've ever seen anybody run.
Well, maybe you're more selfish.
Oh, my God. Yes, but definitely has been an interesting game only because it has shown the strength of Cienega and their ability to blow out teams that are definitely in the playoffs. Jacob, do you think that I would personally prefer to go up against a playoff contender? Because if you're able to beat somebody who's contending and is a legitimate chance and you can beat them, it just gives you that confidence to say, you know what, we already beat somebody in the season with a high possibility of winning the championship. Wouldn't you think?
Well, if they play a contender and they lose, I don't get to spend my quality time with you and co-club members.
Yes, and that's why I said during the season. At the end of the last game of the season, I would prefer to play a contender only because it gives you that confidence. If you beat them...
Did you ask me that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. Then I'll change my answer
to
what you said, because in the I thought you said the playoffs. Did you not say that?
No, I said in the season, would you prefer the last game to play a playoff contending team that would impact your feelings towards the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. Definitely, being 9-0 definitely to take a loss, but experience something like that, I think it's definitely good for a team. Or if you take a win, that gives you even more confidence than a game like this, even how big they're up, would give you confidence. Joyner throws, but is under pressure to Ethan White, and he is taken down on the Mountain Lions side of the field as he gets past the 45-yard line. Joyner under pressure makes a good throw to Ethan White.
And it's kind of disheartening to see how these players are slugging across the line, just so disappointed by facing a gargantuous loss today. Just absolutely brutal to take a loss like this heading into the playoffs. Jacob, what is the mindset that the Lions are going to have facing a legitimate playoff contender and possibly having to play them again in the playoffs?
I think they have some good playoff film from this game right here. They've made a lot of mistakes defensively, and offensively they need to get something going, because once teams, like you've said before, once teams realize what you're doing, running the ball, they're gonna stop it a lot. And balance is what you want.
Balance is what you want. But I also believe that having even a 60-run, 40-throw team is also very good, because it just shows that you do depend on your run, but there is a huge gap where you do depend on that throwing ability, and you are a danger at that spot. So I think with this team is a perfect 50-50, a little bit dependent on the run, but they have Jamari Joyner, who is one of the best athletes I've seen at the quarterback position, just because of his IQ. But I think that going into the playoffs, Cienega has a lot going for them, and Mountain View, like you said, has some great tape to look over.
Gio Owens on the run. Tackled by number 33, Darren Stroman of Mountain View.
And, kind of surprising, Jacob, I have not seen Thomas Webb being a big impact player in this one. I thought he might be. When I was playing on the freshman team, he was an amazing power runner at the QB position. He was just like Jamari Joyner when I played.
Well, he definitely plays a lot of defense, and it's hard on defense to make, really big. Oh, great tackle there from Khalid McRae. It's really hard on defense to make big impact plays. We saw a 3 interception game from him. Should have been 4. 3 interception game from him. He's been in some tackles, but yeah, we haven't seen him on the rushing side of the ball except for that 1-yard touchdown run, which was a big play to increase the big Cienega lead. And, Luis Morales in at quarterback. And you're seeing, folks, right here, the future Cienega quarterback, Luis Morales, getting some reps in for next year. And a handoff goes to Devin Garrett. Oh, he breaks a tackle. That would have been a big loss.
And
makes it a game.
Luis, it either brings you great hope as a Cienega football fan or great despair letting go of Jamari Joyner as your QB.
And I've asked juniors, how will you do with Luis Morales next year? And they said, we'll be just fine. The transition will be just fine, because the coaches do a well job at preparing these players, and Luis Morales definitely has the athletic capability. I believe he's a baseball player too, right?
I'm not too sure. I thought the baseball season and football season were intertwined.
No. He is a baseball player.
He is a baseball player?
They are definitely on the opposite sides of the school year. And Joyner on the punt is a good one to the 14-yard line.
And one of the better kicks that we've seen all night. Definitely an impressive velocity on that one. I definitely have to, give praise to all the kickers on this team that kick. Not very much of a big impact with their kicking, only because of how potent the defense and offense are on both sides. But I would have to agree that it's definitely it's pretty chilly tonight, Jacob. Wouldn't you say so?
You wanna lend me your jacket?
No, I would not. No, I would not.
I need to start bringing one.
You do need to start bringing one, because as you folks know, Halloween is next week, and that is always the key sign that it is getting colder.
That is definitely true, and when you bring up Halloween, kind of makes me sad because me and you're gonna miss Halloween because we are. We have basketball tryouts.
Yes, we
all
do.
next week.
Definitely
definitely a scary week.
Definitely
for
a
us.
scary week. Your nerves are always pumping.
Yeah, and speaking about Halloween, scary. Get it? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Definitely. But you know what's funny? I've always wondered, like as a kid, I always thought, why don't they give us Halloween off? And then I realized when I got older that it's not that big of a deal. Jacob, do you think Halloween is a big deal?
I do believe Halloween is a big deal.
As a kid or as an adult?
As an adult, as a kid, as me now, Halloween is a big deal.
Are you going to dress up for Halloween?
This year?
Yes.
Well, I can't go trick-or-treating this year.
Why not?
Because we have basketball tryouts.
Oh, but let's just say that there wasn't. Would it be a big deal for you?
Definitely.
What would you be?
I've had a tradition of there's an injured player on the field.
Would you dress as a football player?
That's been my tradition. I've dressed as Colin Kaepernick a lot.
Oh,
I've had helmet. He's no longer on the team, so if I was going to go this year, I'd dress as Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, wow. And I know you are a hard 49ers fan. Kind of sad to be you right about now.
No, it is not. They are in rebuilding mode. Definitely is not. And that is number 34.
It's definitely a sad time to be a 49ers fan.
Number 34, Francisco Anaya, who is the third, shaking up on the play.
I am a Cowboys fan. Definitely, yes. Thank you very much. I know that.
And how long ago did you hop on that bandwagon? was it a long jump?
Actually, my grandfather was a diehard Cowboys fan ever since I would say early 70s. So definitely has been a tradition for my family to always be a Cowboys fan.
And it is not a good time for you to be a Cowboys fan.
It is not, but you know what? The future looks bright, and it definitely looks better than the 49ers, so I'm pretty pleased with that.
They had a lot of hype going into this season. I think they're 3-3.
Yes. And that's not that terrible considering where teams are. I think there's a team that hasn't won a game, right?
49ers, Browns.
So your team has not won a game.
A backup quarterback is in. It's number 9. Here's Loxton on the carry. It is number 9. Please don't take my roster. Number 9, Artemio Hoyas. See what he can do, the junior for the Mountain Lions. Maybe a switch to see, maybe a breakout player, going into the playoffs.
And I think this is where Mountain View needs to, find something, because you can't look at tape and see all the things that you failed without anything that you did good. They only have one touchdown, and I think that it just hurts their confidence. But at the same time, I think Cienega isn't going to look at this tape very much just because of the blowout. They're going to look at games like Ironwood Ridge, South Point. But I think that the playoffs are promising for the Cienega Bobcats.
Oh, right in the hands of Devin Garrett. But he is unable to come up with the interception, and it's understandable. Definitely understandable. And as a coach, you are not mad because you are up 34. Keep your players with the most confidence.
And Jacob, I've always want to ask this. You're such a big football fan. If you were to play football, what position would you think you'd be at?
I am a great running back.
Great running back.
Yep.
I know you're a point guard in basketball. Not very fast. Very skilled with your jump shot, I have to say that much. Not too good at dribbling, but a very high IQ that you have. Very impressed. I would most likely be a lineman.
Hoyas on the screen throw.
But for me personally, I've always wanted to be like Jason Witten of the Cowboys, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Back in my younger days when I used to play, I was actually renowned for my catching ability.
Really?
I really was. I was a wide receiver and a tight end. I was hoping I would play, but They said I showed great promise at the offensive line and defensive line because of my height and my size. So that's why I took off. But
Go ahead and give your height and go ahead and give your height.
My height? My height is about 6'5", almost 6'6". But people say I show greater promise in basketball, so I switched sports, and I've been at it for a while now.
1:30 to go here in the fourth. And Bobcats on defense, they have all the backups in there. Logan Williams, Tanner Hughes, Devin Garrett, Bryce Wilson.
It's kind of funny to see that they have the backups for the backups out there. That's how confident they are in their win.
Jacob Acosta, Anthony Williams, not a backup. Well, maybe he is, I don't know. A run from number 5, Edward
Jacob,
Gastelum.
How important do you think it is for second, third, and possibly even fourth-string players to get reps in, even at the end of a game?
Definitely important because you have injuries in this sport, and usually second and third strings are juniors. So going into the next season, they're going to be starters, maybe second string. It's very important.
And we have 5 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock. I thought it was less.
Yeah, that means 51 seconds.
51 seconds.
Yeah.
51 seconds. That's I thought I saw less. I don't know, but definitely a very, very good game. I hope all our viewers enjoyed it. I would honestly have to say you guys should be very, very confident in us going into the playoffs and expect to have an amazing couple of games, possibly even a championship game.
And most likely the first 2 games of the playoffs will be here at Cienega Stadium in Vail.
They are here.
Yeah, the first 2. But then the third, if they win, will be at a neutral site. And the fourth will be a state championship if they do that. Will be at Lowell, I forgot the name of it, U of A Stadium. Lowell Stevens facility or something like that. A big stage for these players. Hopefully these Bobcats can do it.
And that's Jamari Joyner's next spot, his next field that he'll be blessing with his skill.
Get his feet wet in that stadium?
Get his feet wet in that stadium. And if it isn't destiny for him to go there, I don't know what is.
44.4 to go in the fourth. Wait. One more thing. 44.4 to go in the fourth.
Honestly, how demoralizing do you think it is to see a crowd on the opposing side yelling number 1?
Touchdown from number 5, Edward Gastelum. And maybe a little confidence going into the playoffs on that touchdown run.
Absolutely zero confidence from that run. The score is 41-13. There should be zero confidence going into the playoff for Mountain View. But I would like to think that they should be able to bounce back with a possibly, if the bracket works out in their favor, a low-level competition.
What was your question earlier?
How do you think it impacts the team and the fans to hear on the opposing side's fans saying Bobcats number 1 and been cheering and messing around this whole game? This crowd has been lit.
They said that? The Mountain View?
No, this side.
There's a lot of confidence here in Vail.
There is.
For this football team. And Cienega has a great sports program led by Holland, the athletic director, and they've done a great job, this football team, and there's a lot of confidence going into the playoffs. 10-0 is how the Bobcats finish the regular season for a second consecutive year. Pat Nugent, you've done a great job. Players, you've done a great job. We can start naming the whole roster, and just this football team's great.
Definitely is, and honestly, I thought they were lining up to shake hands right there. 32 unnecessary seconds to go in this game. Viewers,
maybe a comeback?
Maybe a comeback. If they had Tom Brady, maybe. I'm not even a Patriots fan, but I know that is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Maybe even an Aaron Rodgers would help them in this case.
Oh, okay. So would he be on defense too to get the stops, the 4 interceptions they need?
You know what? If you're going up against Aaron Rodgers, I would want to believe that you'd have a little bit of a shaky, worrisome thing going into it. I mean, if you were facing Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, being the offense, knowing that if you don't convert, he might take away the game, that's a big load to put on a team.
Well, if 41-14, he comes in with 32 seconds to go, no, I won't be worried. The onside kick is recovered by Ethan White. And it looks like the Bobcats will get into victory formation.
And a little bit of great sportsmanship right there. Seeing players hug, shake hands, dab them up. You know, it's getting litty out here. A lot of the time, I like to see that, though. You know, I like to see players that go up against each other to have that kind of, brotherly love mentality. You know what? You go up against these players, you fought a good game. There's no reason to be hostile to one another.
Yeah, number 70, Kai Golden, giving everybody a handshake up front. And that's why he's playing at the next level. You know, sportsmanship goes into a great deal in recruiting a player.
It does, but I think it's more so about your mentality when you're playing. You know, there's some guys that go out there with a ferocity to hurt people, and definitely it was a great game.
And the Cats are hyped. A 10-0 regular season. Led by Jamari Joyner. And great job. I shouldn't even say that. Led by the Cienega Bobcats. Wow, what a great regular season. 2 years in a row. It's been a pleasure. I came into this school 2 years ago, and I haven't seen a loss in the regular season from the Bobcats.
And you know what? It's amazing to see that kind of brute mentality of winning. And I think a loss will just make it even more heartbreaking. But with this team, you can depend on them to always get you that win that you really need. And I think this is a championship team, in my opinion. And I think that, you know, as fans, these next couple of weeks are going to be the best football you guys have seen so far from this amazing 2017 team. And going into the next year, I think that you guys have a lot of promise and have a lot of great, great players coming up.
As we're getting ready for the Cienega chants, would you like to sing it?
Onward, Cienega, the mighty Bobcats.
Better pass that.
What? There are.
Well, no matter what.
Nigga will always fight for you. Jacob, you should start singing. Okay. Well, it was a great show that we had today. Thank you to everybody. Definitely was a great game. True pleasure. And be ready for next week. It is going to be the most exciting football you fans have seen so far. Playoff games, you'll have the jitters. You'll be excited. And, you know, it's always possible tears will be shed. But with this football team, you have nothing to worry about. Jacob, what are your thoughts about the next upcoming weeks of football that we are going to be playing, going in with 10-0? Are we a target for teams?
Definitely. And when you see 10-0, teams prepare even harder. And
they definitely do. They definitely do.
They're gonna start once they find out who they're playing. They're gonna start that day. They're gonna watch film. They're gonna prepare. They're gonna practice carefully, but to a point where they can still get better.
And, you know, we will have a little bit of trouble getting information about what will happen just because it's a playoff game. It's a big, big deal. And I think we'll have some of the best football we've seen so far.
We should know after tonight, after all the games are final, who Cienega should be playing. Oh, and it looks like the Cienega players are going to throw Gatorade or water over Pat Nugent. I'm ready for this. Dylan Hoos and Dante Bodie get a shot at them with the Gatorade. Oh, watch out! It's all spilling. Watch out, Pat Nugent. 10-0. There he goes.
10-0.
Wow.
That is an incredible feat right there, and I feel like I'm in a college stadium right now witnessing greatness. And Pat Nugent is one of the best football coaches that we've had so far at this school, alongside with the past one, our current principal.
Yeah, he definitely did a good job taking over head coach. And did they have to do it on a chilly night like this?
Honestly, if I was Coach Nugent, I'd be pissed because it is cold. It feels like it's about 20 degrees out, and with winds like this, it's like you getting out of the pool in winter time after you just took a little dip. But definitely a great sight to see. Like I said, Bobcat fans, we have way more football to watch, and these next couple of weeks are the determining factors in the season. And I think that this will be the time to view. I think stadiums will be packed, and I think viewing should be at the highest during these weeks.
Stay tuned for some post-game interviews. And looks like they're getting Stephen Harshman, Terrell Hayward, Dante Bodie. 10-0 feels good.
10-0 does feel good.
So does 7-3 if you're the Mountain Lions.
So does 7-3. You can't be mad with that. I think they have the full capability.
Here with number 66, Isaac Beltran. He is a senior defensive lineman. So Isaac, you guys had a very tight defense tonight compared to last week's game against Ironwood Ridge. How accomplished does that make you feel and all of the linemen feel?
I mean, it feels great. Our linemen, we did what we needed to do. We kicked their butts, we just got to fill the gaps. We did a great week of practice at defense. Just we got to fix it. We fixed a lot of stuff from Ironwood. Last week is more like the second half. We needed to stay, wake back up. And we did, thankfully, at the end. But this week, we just stayed awake the whole time. That's what helped us a lot.
Does this boost your guys' confidence going into next week?
Oh, it definitely does. Our defense is doing great right now. The confidence boost is up here right now, just from compared to last week. We're feeling great.
So back-to-back undefeated regular seasons is a major accomplishment. We know you had a knee injury last year and a finger injury this year. What does it mean to you to be able to play with your team on senior night?
I mean, it feels great. I wouldn't ask for anything else. I kind of sad I missed South Point, but then I said, hey, I still got a senior night, homecoming night, and I came back great. Just want to play with my team. I love my team, and I wouldn't trade anything in the world just to play with them.
That's a great frame of mind. And last, it's your senior night. It's an emotional time for us all. Are there any parting words that you want to share with your brothers who together you have put blood, sweat, and tears into this team?
Oh, I just want to say I love my team, and I hope we can make it, get that state title. Nobody can be in our way as long as we believe in each other, play good with each other, and I love them. I just love my team.
Great. Thank you so much, Isaac. Great game tonight. Stay tuned, guys, because we're going to be back with more interviews.
All right, we're here with defensive lineman number 55, Carter Clark. How does it feel winning this week's game by 27 points versus only 1 point last week's game?
It's a big difference. We couldn't have done it as a team. I'm just really proud and blessed. We couldn't have done it without 1 to 58 on the roster, so I'm just really proud.
All right, and how much of an accomplishment is it to go 2 back-to-back regular seasons undefeated?
It's unheard of, A lot of guys just put in a lot of work and never quit, never stop, and it's just amazing to finally just get the job done and 2 times.
And lastly, what do you guys need to work on as a team before the playoffs?
Biggest thing is communication on the field, being able to face adversity. Not a lot of our games are going to be like this, blowouts and stuff, so we just got to face adversity and know that the game's not over until the clock hits 0-0, so we just got to keep grinding.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Stay tuned, guys. We still have one more interview.
All right. I'm down here with Dante Bodie. Dante, tonight, your mom came down all the way from Texas to watch you. How does that feel on a senior night?
It feels amazing because she knows she wants. I know she wanted to be here all the season, and just for her to come out, one game is the best thing for me because she supports me every step of the way. She's been supporting me since I was 5, so it's a great feeling for her to be out here.
And I heard you. We're thinking about transferring back to Texas. How does it feel to be back with the Cienega squad and have a perfect season?
It feels great because I knew I would come back to a brotherhood that wouldn't be unmatched in Texas. I feel like I did the right decision in coming back, and then obviously I was right in coming back and doing the same thing we did last year and going 10-0.
And last week you had a tough game, winning by 1 point. How does it feel to come back and clamp up the defense? What do you think you did right this time?
What I think we did right was in the second half we kind of laid off last week. We kind of set the tone in the locker room this game because we knew if we were going to act up in the locker room, we weren't going to win. It was going to be the same situation last week. So we stepped up, and Darling put it best. He said, put your foot on your throat.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Dante Podi. I'm Nick Lear. Back to you guys.
Take us home.
Have a good night, Bobcat fans. We're heading into the playoffs next week. Stay tuned. Have a good night.
What is Bella doing?
Oh, she's probably doing Jamari.
Back-to-back 10-0 season, it feels phenomenal.
How do you think the next games will go on? Are you confident? How do you feel about the teams?
I'm confident we're to have some ups and downs, but I have no doubt that we're gonna stick it through. We're gonna get the W.
One word to describe this season.
Sensational.
Sensational. All right. Well, we are very proud of you, Jamari. I love interviewing with you, and I'm so glad that I got to interview you this year. Thank you, Bobcat TV, and we are signing off. Amazing job tonight.